Pull up a chair. Light it up there. It's Real Smoke with Mick and Charles. Boy, wait. There's a roar from the bar and a cheer from the door. Two Egypts with mics wanna hear one story more. Ash in the tray, brown gold in the glass. We're talking about the good times letting hours slip past. Here's the pipes, pipes, and real smoke. St. Patty's night with the crake in the jokes. Mix pouring true, Charles fans the flame. We'll toast your name till the morning came. Raise them high for the real smoke show, where the yarns run deep and the whiskey flows. Slice it to lads and the lives they stoke on the real smoke. There's a singer in the corner with a half-burned grin, an actor talking mischief, where do we begin? Blenders, bartenders, wild hearts and rogues, spilling secrets through the halo of slow-rolling smoke. Here's the pipes and real smoke. St. Patty's night with the crake in the jokes. Mix pouring true, Charles fans the flame. We'll toast your name till the morning came. Raise them high for the real smoke show, where the yarns run deep and the whiskey flows. Explain to the lads and the lives they stoke on the real smoke.
This episode may contain strong language, weak opinions, bad advice, and men speaking confidently about things they only half understand. Statements made should not be considered factual, morally sound, especially if they are drinking. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Real Smoke Podcast with your hosts, Mick and Charles, the podcast that's all about real people, real cigars, and real smoke. Coming to you live from the Real Smoke Virtual Cigar Lounge, bringing you the best of cigars, whiskey, and all the good times in between. It's more than just a podcast, it's a community of cigar lovers. So grab your favorite smoke, pour a drink, and join us as we dive into all things cigars, whiskey, and just having a damn good time. This is the Real Smoke Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 69 of the Real Smoke Podcast, and happy freaking St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Look, green. They're green everywhere.
The music was awesome, bro.
The music was different. I didn't notice.
Amazing. Killing it, man. Killing it.
Hey, that had me thumping. I mean, I was over here. I was jamming down. I loved it.
Little dropkick vibes. I like it.
100%. It was modeled after Dropkick. So, yeah, that's one of my favorite bands. Love it.
Me too. Love it.
So welcome, everybody. It is St. Patrick's Day. It is week 3 in Women's Domination Month. And once again, we have another kick-ass female lady, person, awesome person.
Distiller.
Joining us this evening. Yeah, distiller, master distiller.
Master Distiller.
First female master distiller since Prohibition?
Yes, that might be her.
In the state of Kentucky?
I think so.
It could be her.
Yeah.
She could be on here in a few minutes. Stick around, find out. Anyways, before we get things started, let's go ahead and say hi to one of the craziest groups, or the people in our groups, Cigar Vault Oakdale.
Let's do it.
I wonder if he's got some more public service announcements for us.
I have a feeling.
You do? So do I. Good feeling.
Hey everybody, it's Norm with the Cigar Vault Oakdale doing another episode of Don't Be That.
I haven't talked to you forever, bro.
All right, let's try that again. Hey everybody, it's Norm with the Cigar Vault Oakdale. What the hell is going on?
It's crazy. I just don't understand it personally.
Zach,
What's up, dude?
inside voice.
Oh, I'm not allowed to have a conversation on speakerphone in the cigar lounge?
Highly frowned upon.
Oh.
You know, especially private conversations.
So I should turn the volume down or put in earbuds and not have a conversation loudly on speakerphone. Got it.
That usually would work.
Hey, Miguel, I'll call you back. Right?
Yeah, it usually would work pretty good.
Hey, Zach. Yeah, I should just come over there. Why'd you hang up on me?
Guys,
Yeah, a lot more.
just sit together.
Sorry about that, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, Zach. Thanks.
What's up, dude?
Don't be that guy. Just don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy. How many times have you been into a lounge or a bar or anything like that, and somebody is on FaceTime with it as
Oh.
loud as possible, having an obnoxious drunk conversation, and you're sitting in a table with a booth besides, like, I really don't care what you have to say. What's going on? Take it outside.
I will say I was mildly concerned for a second because I thought it was about just having an inside voice, because I do not have a very good inside voice. Everyone tells me I am super. So last weekend, we went to a whole nother room of a brewery to have a conversation. So the bartender didn't hear us. He heard us anyway. We went to check out. He's like, so you're talking about that back here? Yeah, I heard you. Jesus mighty, I'm in 2 rooms over. So yeah, anyway, I was concerned for a minute. It was me.
I've hung out with you. I get you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I'm sorry. I do love you, though.
Anyways, huge thanks to Norm and Miguel over at Cigar Vault. We absolutely appreciate you guys and everything you do. Let's go ahead and get into a few things. We say this every week. We do have merch. I'm not wearing mine. He's not wearing his. I wanted to find the craziest, gaudiest St. Patrick's Day shirt, so I found mine. I wore it last year in Chattanooga. But we do have merch that we have everywhere, and we do have. It's too late to get it for tonight, but we do have a St. Patrick's themed one. Mick, why don't you tell us about some merch?
Yeah, so if you go to our link tree on our Instagram page, or I think any of our socials really, but our link tree will take you to what says Real Smoke Merch. And we have probably close to 40 designs on there now. There's the retro. We have Veterans Day, a couple of them there. We have the Ed Skeen, Waffle House. Of course, like Charles mentioned, the St. Patrick's Day. There is a Day of the Dead, Cinco de Mayo one we came up with, and also Fueled by Caffeine, Nicotine, and Sarcasm. So yeah, there's a lot of good ones there.
Would that one be? Is that the shirt advertising us, or
probably? Yes.
Probably, yeah, I would say so.
Most days.
We also do have a Patreon, guys. Everything that we do, we ask all the people that we work with. Anytime we have a guest come on, we try to not get them to send us stuff. We want to help support them, so we're buying everything that we're smoking, drinking, and things like that. So one way that you guys can help us is join our Patreon. So Mick, how about you tell them about the Patreon?
Yeah, as we always like to say, this is how we don't get divorced, because we try to, give a little bit back. But Real Smoke Patreon, the Real Smoke Cut and Light Crew, right? Price right there on your screen. 15% off Cigar Vault. That's always the big one. If you're going to buy a few cigars every month, it's going to pay for itself. 1 sticker pack, shout out on Instagram. Name on the show credits, members only Discord, ask questions to guests, and sneak peek at upcoming guests. And then for double that price, you can become part of the inner circle. Price is right there. And as we said, everything from the last, from above, enter to win quarterly prize packs, ability to attend our monthly Zoom HERF, and ability to talk with and ask questions directly to guests on those Zoom HERFs. So, and speaking of stickers, we have a new one coming out. It'll be out probably next week, and we'll give everybody a sneak peek here probably within the next week or so. So if you're part of that Patreon family, one of those will be on the way to you.
Cool. Can't wait to see that one. Also, check out this right here, Smoke In Cigar of the Month Club. If you are looking for an awesome Cigar of the Month Club, you'll get 5 cigars each month. And if you use this code, RSNEW, you'll get a Smoke In torch lighter and a perfect cutter. So go check them out. Go check out Smoke In Cigar of the Month Club. We've been getting their cigars every month for the last, I guess, 6-7 months now. 6-7, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I get you every week with it. We've been trying them we get them every month, and pretty much every month has been pretty good bangers. I've enjoyed every one of them. I think there was one month that was a little bit spotty for me, but I mean, come on, how many times can you get something, fantastic in every month's cigars or whiskey or whatever month club? So let's see. Also, we said before, this is week number 3 of Women's Domination Month. Check out the lineup for this time. 2 weeks ago, we had Sarah Rodriguez with West Tampa Cigar Company. Last week, we had Amanda Bryant on, Moonshiners fame, Master Distiller winner, as well as her own distillery coming up. This week, we do have Marianne Eaves, the first female Master Distiller in Kentucky since Prohibition. And then next week, we're going to end the month with Karen Berger of Karen Berger Cigars. I do think this is one of the best lineups in all of Cigar Tube out there right now. I think we nailed it this month.
Yeah, you did a great job. Like I said, I didn't play too much of a part in most of them. The first one maybe a little bit, but I do want to say it's amazing the response from our fan group and even their fan group, because like the views alone. I looked up. added it up earlier. Just on the first 2 episodes with Sarah Rodriguez and Amanda Bryant, we're over 6,000 views on YouTube within like less than 2 weeks. Amazing.
So I will jump on that one. You're wrong. Sorry to say, you're wrong. So since I run the YouTube channel and get to go into the algorithm back there, I check it every morning. And between the shorts and the videos for just those 2 guests, we're breaking 13,000 views in 2 weeks.
Cool. Double what I added up somehow, but I'll take it.
So yeah. I was just in last week's alone. We're at 9,000.
Wow.
Or last week. So
amazing.
It's doing decently well. It says we're up 340% than what we usually are this time last month.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, and
women are kicking ass. Just say
we say it all the time, man. We're big fans of because we're both girl dads. We're big fans of seeing women just succeed in any form, really. But especially in like a male dominated, industry, they're just kicking ass, and apparently everybody loves to see it, loves to hear the stories as well. So we're super excited.
I think that's the reason we got into it. It wasn't just because it's Women's History Month. It was one of those things where we're girl dads and we live that battle with them because we get to listen to when they come in and they're frustrated and why am I saying I'm not being told I'm not as good or whatever? It's like, you know what? Go kick some butt. Go out there and do that.
Show.
So yeah. So what do you got going on? You got any announcements that you're doing tonight? I think we're pretty much doing the same stuff.
We are, but I got one. I'm sure it's not on your page. So I just want to give a shout out to Tyler from Bosco's in Memphis. We did a Memphis beer drinkers event there on Saturday. Frank set it up. Obviously, Frank was on our show he's the president of the Memphis Beer Drinkers. Man, what a great event. We had such a blast. They had it outside on the patio. Bosco's is a great place to begin with. He gave us a history of a lot of the beer. They tapped a keg that was specially made for cask ale that was made for that event. And then Tyler gave us a tour of the brewery. I was messaging Charles the whole time we were there. Their brewery door has like 3 or 4 of our stickers on it from the Real Smoke podcast. So, man, we've definitely left our mark on Memphis. And, man, guys like Tyler, it's amazing. I can't wait till our September HERF where I can take you around, man, to some of these places and some of the people, because Memphis beer scene is pretty sweet, man. These guys are doing a great job. So shout out to Tyler and Bosco's.
Yeah. When we got to meet these guys, and we got to meet, I guess, 3 or 4 of them, hadn't met them before. I haven't met them in person, but I do hope if I can get down to Memphis on a Friday night before the HERF, I would like to. I don't want to spend too much time at each one, because if you spend too much time at a bar, you're going to drink. So I do want to go around and at least go say hi to them and thank them for jumping on here and being a part of our show. Tonight, make sure that you type in #RealSmoke in the comments. We do have 2 $25 gift cards to the Cigar Vault Oakdale that we are giving away. So make sure you do type that in there. Also, make sure you do us a favor. Go hit the like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. You guys know what to do on YouTube. We don't have to tell you like everybody else does, but we're telling you anyways. Just saying, go like, subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into what we are smoking and then who the guest is. You ready for that one? All right. So tonight's cigar is brought to you by 13 Knives.
Hey guys, this is Robert over at 13 Knives, and I'm visiting one of my at that. Hey, this is Robert over at 13 Knives. I'm at my local B&M, smoking a fine cigar. I want to show you some things over here in their display rack. Oh, look at there. There's some badass bulldog cutters right there. All made in the United States of America with 1095 high carbon steel. And I don't know if you noticed, there's a few other things over there that I do. Some cigar holders. Those are all pretty badass. They're all for sale. Hit me up if you want to buy something. Go to my website. Go to my socials. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting Real Smoke Podcast. Go to your local brick and mortar. Go buy a cigar. Enjoy. Smoke what you want. Enjoy it. Peace out.
Huge thanks to Robert over at 13 Knives. Tonight's cigar, sir.
Tonight's cigar is the Pestaña Cigars San Andreas Corona Gorda. Wrapper, Mexican San Andreas. Binder, Ecuadorian Habano. Filler, Dominican Republic, and Nicaragua. Price is right there on your screen, and that is brought to you again by 13 Knots.
Now it's not really a redux. We did smoke the Toro, I believe it was. We did smoke the Toro, and we got told that the Corona Gorda was the best of all the sizes. So for last year, we did smoke the Toro. This year, we are going back and we're trying the Corona Gorda. We both have previously smoked it. I've smoked quite a few of them. Tonight, I'm smoking it again. So if it changes at all, I'll kind of update my scoring. But that's the cigar that we are smoking. So we are about to bring on our guest. Our guest tonight is brought to you by Destination Cigar.
Step into the world of cigars like never before at Destination Cigar Lounge, home of the exclusive Allegory cigar brand. Whether you're kicking back at Governor's Crossing in Sevierville, Tennessee, or soaking up the rich aroma at Almost Havana in Hurricane, West Virginia, every visit is an adventure. From top-tiered cigars to expert recommendations and a laid-back atmosphere, it's the perfect place to relax, connect, and enjoy the craft. If you are looking for bold and unforgettable flavors, escape to the world of Allegory cigars. Kick back with the rich Mexican San Andres Dividend. Enjoy the smooth intrigue of the censored Sumatra, or fire up the bold and flavorful Escape Habano. For more information, you can follow them on Instagram at destination_cigars, or you can explore more by visiting them online at destinationcigarlounge.com, or take a journey to one of their 3 locations in West Virginia and Tennessee. No matter where your cigar journey takes you, every blend is an experience worth savoring. Where the road ends, the perfect smoke begins at Destination Cigar Lounge.
All right, we are back, and we have with us Miss Marianne Eaves. And as I said before, she is the first female master distiller for the state of Kentucky. She is also the founder of Forbidden Bourbon. We are super excited to have you on. If you don't care, kick your mute off, and you will be ready to rock and roll. How's it going tonight?
Okay. Good. How are y'all?
Good.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Excited to have you on. Like Charles said, it's hard to beat his introductions. I don't even know why I try to talk after him sometimes, but we've both been excited about this one for months. We keep talking back and forth about having you on, and we're just super excited to have you on and see where the story takes us.
Thank you.
So where are you at right now?
Right now I'm in my office in Lexington, Kentucky.
Lexington. What part of Lexington is your office at?
Right downtown. So
Right
I'm actually
downtown.
across from the police station.
Nice. My backyard was for almost 2 years was literally the football stadium. I lived over at UK's Family Housing. And so we got to see fireworks every time that they won. We saw in 2 years, we saw it once. So that will tell you how good Kentucky football is. So we'd like to take things back a little bit. We would like to get to know a little about you before we go into what you are doing now. So first, I just want to ask, where did you get your start? Where did you grow up? What was you like as a kid?
So I grew up in Kentucky, but I was born in Tennessee. My dad was a UPS pilot. So when he got that gig, we moved up to Louisville. I'm the middle of 3 children, and I don't know if y'all know all the stereotypes about middle children, but I fit all of them. So I was definitely a shy kid. That was something that everybody always noticed about me. Like, wow, Marianne's really quiet. But I think I've come out of my shell over the years, especially doing what I do now for a living. So I didn't start into college right away after high school. I actually went in this, rewinding a little bit more. I went to all 3 Oldham County high schools because my mom was very nomadic. She moved us around a lot. So I was in, the different school districts and had to move around a little bit, which I think is actually good for me. I'm more malleable now. I'm suited to change and I thrive in it. So when I was in college, I finally started college about 1.5 years after I graduated from high school. helped my mom open a business briefly. That did not work. So I had to get serious about what I want to be when I grow up. And it was actually my dad had started sending me these lists, like, top earning degrees right out of graduation kind of thing. And chemical engineering was pretty consistently at the top of that list. So I was like, well, I don't know what a chemical engineer does, but okay. And I started researching, and they do a little bit of everything. So I was like, I can make peanut butter, I can make cosmetics, or I could make whiskey. And so I interviewed at a bunch of different places. It wound down to a decision between renewable energy research at the University of Kentucky down here in Lexington, or making bourbon at Brown Forman in Louisville. And it was really my mom that like pushed me to take the interview. She's like, you know what? It's a well-known company. If nothing else, like it'll be great on your resume. And they offered me the job. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
So let's do some cartwheels backwards a little bit. You said you were born in Tennessee. What part of Tennessee?
Chattanooga.
Okay.
How old were you when you left Chattanooga?
Baby.
Baby.
I was, like less than a year old.
Okay. That's where I'm from. I'm from Chattanooga. So that's the reason I was curious. I've heard you say a few times you're from Chattanooga. So it's like, cool. So you went to Kentucky. What were some of the things that you were into? You said you were shy, but as a kid, what were some of the things you were into? I know Mick's first thing is, were you into sports? He's going to ask that.
I coached girls soccer forever, and so it's a big part of me. So I love seeing girls involved in sports and kicking ass. So like I always got to ask if especially during Women's Month, if you were involved in any sports growing up.
I did one soccer camp as a kid, and there was this beast. Oh my God. I don't remember her name. I remember what she looks like. It's like burned into my brain, but she kicked me so hard in the shin, like even through the shin guards. I think she cracked my bone. And I was like, I think I'm good. I'm good on soccer. So I did marching band and volleyball. I think I was good enough at volleyball that I could have played club ball, but I don't know.
What instrument did you play?
So French horn and band, mellophone, and the marching band. Yep.
Okay, I got to know, what's a mellophone?
Yep.
I haven't heard that one.
Marching French horn. It just looks like a oversized trumpet, kind of.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I did an undersized trumpet. I did cornet.
Oh, nice.
So
I played no instruments, but my daughter was a saxophone player, so we got to go to all the band events as well. So I lived that life as well. One daughter was a band person, a daughter was a soccer player. So
sweet.
So growing up, so you said you moved around quite a bit and you bounced around in high schools, and I think you used the word malleable. Is that something that you feel kind of led you into, being able to be more open in the industry you're in now, or got you even into that industry for that sake?
I think so. I thrive in changing environments. It was always actually exciting to me when we moved to a new house. Like I remember the last house that I lived at in Oldham County. It's the log cabin. That was my dad's dream home. And I moved out of the room I was in with my sister and into a room at the end of the other hallway. And I can remember that first night, just like feeling my way down the hallway with the lights off, like trying not to wake anybody up, and how cool that was to me. Like it wasn't a scary unfamiliar. It was like a exciting unfamiliar. And I think that's really what I've taken through every change that I've made. Like, not being scared of not knowing what's ahead of you, but being excited because I'm responsible for creating the opportunity. So
you were talking about, you kind of had a path that you had to go down. Your parents were kind of laying it out for you of what you should do. I'm at the point now, my youngest is getting ready to go into her first year of high school. And it's a lot different than when I was in high school. You just had classes. You didn't sign up for pathways. You didn't sign up for a career choice. Here in Tennessee, they put you, at least in East Tennessee, you start going down pathways. And, she's freaking out about which pathway. Do I want to go into farming? Do I want to go into nursing? What was, what were some of the things going through high school that you were interested in or not interested in that your parents were like, hey, you need to focus in, you need to figure out something?
I think something that I was really fortunate in my parents is that they didn't really try and steer me. Like my dad put things in front of me, but he wasn't like pushing me necessarily. I got two very different like advice from my parents. My mom was the one that was always like, enjoy the journey. Like, you don't have to be a straight A student. Like, you know, just get there but enjoy it along the way. My dad on the opposite side was like, you know, when you're going for something, when you want to do something, when you want to be attached to an organization, like, you know, be there before everybody else, stay until after everybody else leaves. Like, you know, in the interview, offer to freaking mop the floors, like whatever will get you in the door. If that's really what you want to do, you got to show them you'll do anything to just be there. So I kind of tried to balance those things as I was approaching opportunities. I think that, you know, the way that I navigated what I want to be when I grow up, really, I mean, it did have to do a little bit with some of what I did in high school. I was very drawn to math. I took extra math classes, luckily, since I went to a totally different school halfway through my senior year. So I transferred from North Oldham High School to Oldham County High School, and Oldham County actually requires more math than North. And because I had taken those extra classes, I wasn't going to be held back. If I hadn't, I would have, you know, everything would have changed. But I was also going half the day to the Oldham County Career Center and taking an auto tech class. So working on cars half the day. So even though I did change high schools, I was in the same technical class half the day. So I
wanted to ask you about that. I actually heard that somewhere, I think on one of the podcasts I caught part of, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, so just having Amanda on last week, she's like exact same. And I think how we're built and how we're raised is sometimes, you know, it kind of takes you on that journey a little bit differently than some people. And I noticed some things right off the bat with like some of these strong leading ladies like yourself and like the other women we've had on this month, is they're like, listen, if I see something I want, my dad's always told me, you know, you need to go get it. And it seems like everybody has loved to work with their hands before they got into that certain path that they were in. And whether it be, you know, Amanda was a roofer, you did some auto body, like not auto body, but like mechanic work. And I forget what you called it up for tech school, but that's amazing that you guys are just like, hey, I'm going to work with my hands. I'm going to do this. So, I mean, is that pretty common, like in the area that you grew up, like the women getting into those fields, or was that just something you had an interest in and wanted to know how things worked?
Yeah, I think it was just like, you know, I'd like to change my own oil. I'll figure out how to do that.
Okay.
And I ended up doing so much more than that. Like one of my first cars was a 1972 Oldsmobile 98. I rebuilt the carburetor on it. Like I kept that thing running. It had a 455 rocket engine. Like it was really cool to take that into the shop and do some stuff on it. I replaced the starter. There was lots of little things. But then I had a Toyota Corolla, and on that one, like it wasn't any like serious like mechanical work that it needed, but I was like, I'm going to take my tires off and spray paint my rims gold, like just for funsies. So it you know, it looked okay. It was just for, you know, to be funny, but it looked okay for approximately 2 hours. And then it was, you know, gross, but I was a college kid.
So what, it sounds like you were enjoying that class, enjoying that kind of work. What made you decide not to go down that path?
I did tour some of those kind of like vocational programs, doing diesel mechanics and that sort of thing. That was right before my mom decided to open that business in downtown LaGrange. It was a consignment art and craft store with a little Italian cafe and gelato stand. And that was really fun. But I decided to kind of like postpone the education or the career to help mom open that business. it didn't last very long. But then I think at that point I was like, you know, there's probably something else out there for me. I think I would have enjoyed it a lot. I think I would have really enjoyed, you know, doing that type of work. I'm still really into like tinkering with things, but the path that I was meant to found me, I think.
I completely get that one. So from the time that you were in elementary school all the way up into, I guess, going into college, how many different schools or school systems would you say you were in? Just ballpark.
7.
So, I mean, my dad worked for the railroad, so we moved around a lot. 4 different states. I went to 11 schools in 12 years. Going to so many schools and being the constant new kid, do you think that's something that, you know, helped you get ready for, you know, what you're doing now? Because somebody who lives the constant new kid life has to build a certain social, you know, social skills and determination to constantly either rejuvenate or revitalize who they are, or, you know, they have to learn how to get along with various types of people.
That's interesting. I think that time in life, particularly middle school, I think it was my middle school years that I changed the most. And I happened to be in the same middle school for all 3 years and just went to 3 different high schools. Before that, I went to 2 different elementary schools. So even though I was at the same middle school for all 3 years, I feel like I was, even between like 6th and 7th grade, I feel like the person that I was and how I presented myself and the even some of the people that I hung out with changed pretty dramatically. And it wasn't necessarily entirely by choice. So I remember one of the girls that I was closest to in 6th grade at the end of the year, she came dressed in this like full Abercrombie and Fitch outfit. And it just wasn't something that I ever cared about. But she was like, Marianne, I just wanted to like let you know I'm sorry, but we won't be friends next year. And she was, and then like off to hang out with the cool kids. I'm like, all right, cool.
Please tell me she's now reached out and said hi like years later. That would be like the
no,
best.
And honestly, I don't even I don't remember her last name. Wow. And I'm not even sure that I would remember her face. I've got a weird memory. I don't know.
I mean,
there definitely have been people from my childhood that are like, you know, try to connect with me on Facebook. And I'm not like a high school reunion type person. It just feels like, to be honest, to be frank, it feels like a pissing contest that I'm not interested in participating in. We weren't friends then. I'm not going to pretend to be your friend now. Sorry, everybody.
That was pretty much when I got our 20th reunion. I got asked if I was going, and it's like 90% of the people that's going to show up, I never hung out with, and I'm not going to go and just be like, "Oh, how have you been?" I mean, I've got my own life. You guys haven't reached out to me since then. I really don't care about hanging out. I mean,
I feel like it would make me a worse person, really, because all I want to see is the people that I disliked failing. And I'm being honest. Like, I don't want to go because I feel like it makes me a worse person. So that is what it is. But no, I completely agree. And I was just curious because I feel like karma has a way of coming back around, and like people like that early on in life that thought they were better than people. I feel like it always comes back around to be like, shit, maybe I don't think I was right on that, you know?
You know, and it didn't really like hit me. Like it wasn't something that I felt like was a big negative necessarily. I'm like, you know, she's doing whatever is best for her. And unfortunately she wound up with a reputation the following year. So, you know, maybe the karma hit quick on that one, but anyway.
So we'll just leave that one there. Moving on. So going into you're going into college. Let's talk about your college years. Chemical engineering. So we heard this from, I think, Alex Castle as well. She wasn't looking into going into the same field, but it was something she was kind of pushed. Her mom told her, "Hey, you can go in there. You can make makeup. You can go make food. You can go make whatever. But this one field can let you go anywhere. And her mom said, you can even make whiskey. And she was like, gotcha. I'm going to do this. So going through the field of chemical engineering, what were some of the things that you were thinking, hey, I may want to go into this field or that field?
It was mostly, I mean, primarily what I was thinking was renewable energy or biodiesel, something like that. I mean, clearly I wound up in a completely different industry, but that's really where my mind was. I was like, I can do fuel additives. I was still vegetarian at the time. I'm pescatarian now. I was vegan for a long time, but I was like, I'm going to contribute to saving the world, do this renewable energy stuff. And after that first internship at Brown Forman, I that really was like sorry, I don't know if y'all can hear the dinging. I hope it doesn't keep up. That was like my light at the end of the tunnel. Really, the internship working for Brown Forman is what got me through chemical engineering, because it was so hard. I remember several times reaching out to my mom, like, I don't know. I probably would have never done that to my dad, because he just wouldn't hear it. Like if I said, I don't know if I can do it, he would just not hear it. He would be like, I don't understand how you can't see what you're capable of. And that's how he approached me always. And I'm so grateful for that. And then mom was like, and I'm entirely supportive of you and whatever decision you make. Like, what are some other things that you might be thinking about? And I was like, well, I don't know, maybe I'll go be a dentist and she was like, well, if that's what you want to do. She was like, I know you can do it, but it is entirely up to you, whether that happens or not. So
Mick and I are both shaking our heads because we're living that girl dad life right now. And we're thinking, the moment that, our daughters came to us and said, yeah, I don't think I'm good enough for this. Yeah, we've got that speech already lined out, and we probably have said it 1,000 times.
Yeah,
so
my daughters are now 22 and 26. And I know there was times I feel like I pushed them away from stuff maybe that they enjoyed because I pushed them so hard. But at the same time, I think they know that I had their back on stuff as well. So this isn't about me, but as soon as you said that, I'm like, man, exactly. I feel like we see stuff in our daughters that maybe they don't see at least at the time. So yeah, it is a balancing act. It's a balancing act. So,
well, see, I've had both of my girls come up to me. My oldest is 25, 26. She currently is a teacher right now in special education. And my youngest is, again, going into high school. They have both come up different times with whatever they're doing and saying it's too hard. They can't do this. They don't think they're good enough for this. And my first thing I always tell them is, I don't care if you move and go into a different direction. I'm good with that. But do not come to me on your hardest, worst days and tell me that you're ready to quit. Come to me on the best day that you ever have and tell me that it's not for you. And then I will agree with you. But if you've had a hard day and you've had a frustrating day and you tell me it's time to quit, I'm going to tell you to pull your big girl pants up and let's go ahead and do this. And it's worked so far. So let's talk about Brown Forman. Huge Brown Forman fan. Love what they do. You get the internship at Brown Forman. Tell us about how that happens and what was your experience like working at Brown Forman?
So I'm a natural introvert. I think I mentioned that a couple times. So when it came time to select an internship, I went to like the career fair and that sort of thing. And basically it was, handing out my resumes, and anybody who called me was interested in interviewing me. I said yes to. I was just trying to get practice, really. I'm like, I need to sit in front of people and answer hard questions and figure out how this whole thing works. So I had 7 or 8 interviews. The last 2 were the renewable energy research internship at University of Kentucky. And then the one, that was the last, and the one right before that was the one for Brown Forman in Louisville. And I went into it. So rewind a little bit. I was doing MMA at the time, so training MMA at Derby City MMA in Louisville, and I was a non-traditional college student, so I was a little bit older than everybody else. I was like, you know what I can do? I can use the people that I know to like set myself apart a little bit. So actually the woman that taught the women's jiu-jitsu class at Derby City was one of the owners. Her name was Jo Cannon, and she worked in accounting. I'm not sure if she's still there or not, but I was like, hey, Jo, like, do you know anything about this engineering internship? Like, who should I reach out to? And she's like, let me ask around. And she got me the email address of this woman named Nancy Warfield, who has since retired, but was like integral in my career path and what I achieved working for Brown Forman. But I got my resume into her, got the interview. I think I was probably a different experience for them because I was pushing back, asking questions, like, almost interviewing them. and as I was walking out to my car, they offered me the job. They're like, we would really love to have you as a part of this next cohort. And I said, that's great. I'm very interested. I just have one more interview that I've already committed to. I'd like to see that through before I make a decision. And I did that. I can't remember if it was the next day or the next week, but I drove down to Lexington, saw the renewable energy research facility, was talking to the guy that heads that up. It was all very interesting to me, very, very, very interesting to me. And then at the end of it, he kind of left me with the existing interns and said, ask any questions that you have of them, and then come find me in my office and we'll talk about it and, see what you're feeling like. And the only question that I asked them was like, well, why did you choose this internship? And all of them, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 that were there. They all said the same thing, which was, this was the only one that offered me a job. And I was like, oh, nice to meet you guys. Enjoy your internship. And then I promptly accepted the position at Brown Forman.
Wow. Yeah, that's
so. Go ahead.
That's kind of an indicator right there that this might not be the place to go. No, that's awesome.
So I've got to jump back just a second. You said my ears perked up when you said MMA.
Mm-hmm.
So around what time was this that you were getting into MMA?
What year? That would have been 2008, 2009, something like that.
Very cool. I was an MMA coach for 10 years in the state of Kentucky. I worked with a group that we were the first group to get MMA started in the state.
Fun.
So we were. I was training people in Tennessee, and Tennessee was not doing MMA, so we would have to travel to Kentucky to be able to let our guys fight. So what got you into doing jiu-jitsu, MMA, and what were some of the things that you enjoyed about it? Because that you are literally the first person that we've had on in 69 episodes that talked about really having a martial arts background.
Yeah. I think initially, honestly, it was just for exercise. And this is going to sound silly, but it was some Victoria's Secret model that was like, I do boxing to stay in shape. And I was like, I should go do boxing. And then I fell in love with it. So I did boxing and Muay Thai first. My brother had done jiu-jitsu as a teenager and got seriously hurt. So I was just like kind of nervous about jiu-jitsu, but then I decided to try it. I don't know. I just got a wild hair. I don't know. Maybe they were the people that run the gym encouraged me to just give it a chance. But then I love jiu-jitsu the most. The Muay Thai and boxing, like I don't particularly enjoy getting punched. I mean, sometimes punching is fun, but I don't like being punched. Doing like the puzzle aspect, the leverage, the body positioning, all of that about jiu-jitsu just is really fascinating to me. So I did that for several years, and I've actually just gotten back into it recently.
So the jiu-jitsu part of it, my background is in the kickboxing field. I was a stand-up person my entire life. The jiu-jitsu part came in over the last 15 years or so. But one of the biggest things that, as an ADHD person is the chess aspect of it. You literally got to stay 10 moves, 5 moves ahead of the person that you're working with, even if you're doing something slow. It's very cool to have to constantly think about what to do and then what they're going to do.
Yes.
So, that was part of the fun stuff. I got to see on your Instagram that you were taking or doing some classes with Fred Minnick.
Mm-hmm.
That to me, as the first person that I ever, I have my person that was my first person in the cigar industry that I started listening to. Fred Minnick was my first one in whiskey industry that I started listening to.
Yeah.
And to realize that he actually did jujitsu, and then a picture that you were kind of like, hey, can't wait to do this again, or I got to get started again. That was pretty cool in itself.
Yeah. It had been a really long time. I knew that Fred was into it, and I would just like send him a text occasionally, like, I'm going to come to class with you. Like, when are you going to be there? And eventually I actually did. Like, I still had my gi and everything. I had to get a new belt. And I don't even know what belt I am, honestly. So I just got a white belt because when I trained jiu-jitsu, mostly before, it was no gi. I preferred no gi. But the first class that I went to with Fred was a gi class, and I've been doing that ever since. But yeah, it was really fun. And that first day that I went to class with him, like, I told him that I had done it, and I think that he heard that, but he didn't really believe it, maybe. So he was like, all right, let's roll. And he's like trying to take it easy on me, and I get behind him and get him in a choke. And he texted me later. He was like, I shouldn't have let you hold that for so long. My throat's kind of hurting now. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he's like, no, that's a compliment. It was really fun. And it's a great group of people. It's called Made Fitness in Louisville. The owner's really wonderful. All of the instructors, the people in the Friday midday class, it's really, they're wonderful. I mean, they're all like higher level than me. And again, I don't know what level I'm supposed to be. Everybody that I roll with is like, you are not a white belt. Like, well, we'll see. I don't know.
That's awesome. It's I've always heard it's like some of the best exercise. I've debated boxing classes for many years. I got bad knees, so I don't think I could really do the kickboxing stuff. Really, like, my knees are really bad. But I definitely have thought about the boxing thing. I was thinking about becoming a Victoria's Secret model. Really, is what I was thinking.
Hell yeah.
So Brown Forman. So obviously you got your foot in the door there with the internship. How did that progress over the years? Like, I mean, I know obviously we kind of know where that led for most of us, but for all of our viewers, just how did that progress for you? Because it seems like it happened all pretty not quickly, but pretty quickly for you because of your work ethic.
Yeah, so you start with the first internship, and they kind of just like show you the ropes and introduce you around and teach you all the laboratory equipment, and you basically are just like handed things from the engineers, and you collect the data and give it back. So that's a lot of what I was doing. I was like running filtrations, doing different like blending of batches, just like taking samples and doing analysis on it and giving the information back to the full-time engineers. Sometimes, I would get involved in the analysis and like actually implementing whatever change was decided upon based on that information. So in process research and development, it's a lot about optimization, whether that's affecting the length of time a process takes, like what do I want to say? Like basically bringing costs down, bringing time down, improving quality, but saving money. So I did a lot of different projects like locally in Louisville around the bottling facility. But they also sent me to Jack Daniels a ton. I got to do some projects in Belgium and Mexico. And so I got around the country, the world a little bit too, which was amazing. And lots of time at Woodford Reserve. And by the time I got to my third internship, I was working on some pretty big projects. So especially down at Jack Daniels, they had me working on a special filtration project having to do with their regauge when they bring whiskey in from the warehouse. They have to cut it down and filter it, and trying to streamline that process as much as possible, because every minute you save when you're at a production facility of that scale has a huge impact. It accumulates. So it was a really cool thing to have the opportunity to grow from each internship, from one to the next. And I think that one of the things that I appreciate the most, especially, you know, my contact in Nancy Warfield, is that she was constantly pushing me, even as an intern, to get involved in the organization, to network with other departments, to put myself out there, to join these like young professional employee resource groups. So even before I was hired full time, people kind of knew my name, and that was really amazing. And not only that, like, not only just pushing me to get out there in the organization, but she was also encouraging me to take projects that would not traditionally be seen as, like, you know, a lady job. So like there's two different projects on the table. One is like more laboratory focused. One is like actually out in the warehouses, like taking barrel samples, running up and down the still in the middle of the night with the night shift operators. She was constantly pushing me to get out in the production facilities, into places where women were seen less. And I will always be grateful for that.
Wow. It's good you had that push, but at the same time, like within the industry, but it's also amazing though that your work ethic obviously shined through that much on the, you know, for just on an intern level, that they kept pushing you to take more responsibility, which is awesome. I did have one quick thing before we move on here. Did you enjoy bourbon before you started there, or was it kind of not really a thing for you?
It was not a thing for me.
Okay.
I had a bad experience with, and it's kind of not fair to even call it bourbon. But it was one of those bottom shelf brands. I was dating this horrible guy, and it was like New Year's Eve or something. He was like, "Here, chug this bottle." And then I was trying to reach for the soda to have a chaser, and he like knocked it out of my hand. I was like, "You are a terrible person." So I didn't have a great experience, memory of whiskey. But I was more like a rum and a tequila drinker, but always in like, you know, sugary cocktails.
All right. So our fans have heard this, but I know you haven't. I swore off whiskey and bourbon until about a year and a half ago. I had too many bad experiences, let's say in my early 20s, but it may have been mildly before that. But just for the sake of the show, I had way too many bad experiences where it was horrible. And I related everything to that flavor that I could smell. I could smell the best bourbon in the world, and it would almost make me want to puke, because I couldn't get that thought out of my head from 20 plus years ago. And finally, because I lost a bet on this show, I had picked up a bottle of Buffalo Trace. Actually, it was in my pantry, and I lost a bet. And they said I had to drink it live on the show, and I was like,
"Oh no,
this is pretty great." But I was always a rum and a tequila drinker. I love rum and tequila. I still to this day do enjoy it as well. But I've become such a bourbon snob now, and it's taken me down a whole new rabbit hole. So anyway. So
it's one of those things where, you know, I, on the exact opposite side, I was not a tequila drinker, because there's way too many experiences of bad nights with tequila. So Mick is a tequila guy. I growing up in Kentucky, went to all the distilleries, became a huge bourbon person. I can go to the same distillery 22 times and listen to the same person tell the story about how it's made, and I geek out every time. So Mick is talking about how horrible whiskey is, or bourbon is, and he's telling me how great tequila is, and vice versa. And it's one of those things where we both ended up having the same thought or telling each other, it's the quality of the juice. 100%. If you're drinking crap juice, you're going to have bad experiences. But if you take the time to enjoy something that has quality behind it, and you know, I've become a tequila fan. He's become a whiskey fan. He's actually got his own brands that he's big fans of right now. So it's very cool to see. But yeah, his breakthrough was on the show, having to drink something that wasn't a $15 bottom shelf whiskey. So,
Heck yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that, I mean, that advice specifically is what opened my palate to whiskey. So I was actually down in Mexico working on a project, and I was talking to one of my colleagues down there. I was like, why is it that tequila tastes so much better in Mexico? Like, I can sip it down here. When I'm in Kentucky, I just want to in a margarita or a shot. And he was like, two things that I always recommend. And he's like, first thing, like, drink it however you want to drink it. Like, honestly, if you want to drink it in a margarita, eventually you'll start tasting the flavors of the tequila, and maybe you'll want to try it in a different kind of cocktail, maybe something that's more spirit forward. And, you know, if you're trying to force yourself to like something, it's typically not going to work. And second point of advice, drink quality. So exactly to your point, like if you're trying to condition your palate to something that's junk, that's not going to work either. And I know for a fact that, okay, so when I started at Brown Forman as an intern, that's exactly the time that they started developing a product called Woodford Double Oaked. So I was a part of the process of developing that product. And I do believe, I think I've heard from many women, but probably lots of men too find this, but that was my gateway bourbon. So it's so sweet. It's got this dessert profile. I have a sweet tooth. Hard to say no to something that's like vanilla and chocolate and caramel and all these beautiful like things. So I loved all of that about it. And then it also had all the other like traditional bourbon characteristics, the spice notes, the fruit notes, the barrel notes, sweet aromatics also. But so once I was able to identify those in my Woodford Double Oaked, I was able to start opening my palate to pretty much everything else. And then it just happened really quickly after that.
So I would say that I've been to Woodford quite a few times and tasted some of their distillery only stuff and their stuff that they have publicly out. The Double Oak and the Double Oak are by far my favorite of all time that they put out. So two-part question really quick, going to Woodford. How many, or Brown Forman, how many different distilleries with Brown Forman would you say you bounced around to, at least learning from?
A lot. So
the look of a lot tells me that it was a lot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, all of the domestic distilleries. I mean, international. There were more than I wanted to get to that I wasn't able to. Actually, they acquired their Scotch and Irish portfolio right before I left, so I wasn't able to get over there. But if not like actually going to the facilities, I worked on products from all of them because so one of the engineers would be working on a project and I would be participating in at some level in almost everything.
Okay. So the reason I was asking is this. When you've traveled to the different distilleries, if you had to think back over that time of all the different internships, what was the one memory that still sticks out that you're like, that was a cool experience working for this company?
The time that I spent in Belgium was really cool. I was there working with a co-packer, so it wasn't actually a Brown Forman owned production facility, but I was working with the co-packer to do the first filtration and bottling of a particular product. And I ended up getting stuck in Belgium for an extra week because the filter media that we needed was delayed. So I was there with my boss initially, and he was like, sorry, I got to get back. So he left me there, which was amazing. I got to explore around a little bit. I got to visit this, what do I want to say? It was a producer of filter press technology in the French speaking side of Belgium. So I had my rental car. I can't read a single street sign, but made it over there and got a tour of this facility of these makers of these filter presses that they use all over the world. I mean, massive, like building sized filter presses that they use in Scotland. And I had an idea to use their technology differently, because that's what I do. I look at things and turn them on their head. And they're like, we've never thought to do that before. I'm like, well, would you think about it? So that was a really cool trip. And the co-packer was also like one of the world's largest cider breweries. So getting to see like the volume of apples and how they process them and all that side of the business, that was really, really cool. Belgium, that will always have be a special memory for me. But like Jack Daniel's had some incredible experiences there, and it was always really hard work. And I remember I actually just had dinner with Kevin Smith, who used to be the head of quality there at Jack Daniel's, last night. He wrote part of the alcohol textbook on yeasting. He's branching out on his own now. He was working with Company Distillery in Tennessee, and now he's probably going to be getting into doing some of his own consulting. But an interaction that I had with him at Jack Daniel's early on in my career has stuck with me. I was working on a project, and I don't know how technical you guys want to get, but there's a specific compound that comes out in distillation called EC, ethyl carbamate. It's actually a carcinogen. So it's highly regulated over in Europe. It's self-regulated here in the US. So we were looking at the values and trying to figure out, how we most effectively, Jack Daniel's, how they would most effectively manage this particular compound. And so I was there at the distillery all hours of the day, running up and down the still. I was also at that time working as protege to Chris Morris. So I happened to, that particular day, be out in market doing sales calls at bars and restaurants. And then it was like 10 or so at night. And I was like, all right, sorry guys, duty calls, got to get to the distillery to work on the still. So running up and down the still all night, 15-minute intervals, taking samples across this like 80-foot tall column still. And the next morning, I'm getting ready to clock out and go like back to the hotel and sleep. And Kevin is there, and I was just asking him, I'm like, well, we have all these stills, and I was just noticing like this one is set up this way and this one is set up this way, and the proportions of the two different types of stills seem to be different from between each one. Why is that? And he looked at me and he was like, Marianne, no one has ever asked that question before. So just the mere fact that I was like noticing these things and wanted to understand if there was a reason, or if, and I think that the honest answer was Jack Daniel's is trying to produce as much as humanly possible because it's a globally distributed brand, and they weren't really paying attention. They were just like, we got to squeak as much out as possible. And in those moments, they were just like, all right, decision done, go.
That's amazing.
And so that statement, like him just saying to me, like, that's a question that nobody's asked before, it kind of like fueled my curiosity even more. Like, okay, well, let's find the answer.
I love that. Yeah, I think I made my whole career like that. I basically in repairs and facility management and stuff like that. So my first question is getting to a new site is like, why is it done that way? Like, I want to know everything about why, because to me, somebody like us that thinks maybe a little bit differently could completely change the production profile of that whole place. So that's absolutely amazing. So as you went through your years there, I was going to kind of get into the master taster thing. Like, how did that all evolve? Because like you obviously made your way up through the ranks and you proved yourself along the way. How did it eventually get to that point where they're like, you're somebody we need in this seat? How did that happen?
So I was moved, from an intern to a full-time engineer. I was already participating in the sensory panels. And I think it was after I got hired on full time that I moved from the consumer replicating panel to the expert panel. I won an award called the Top Tongue Award. And then I had the opportunity to start training with Chris Morris and being developed into this master taster role. And fun fact, at that time, all the people that worked in the sensory department at Brown Forman were female. So I don't know if y'all know this, but women, physiologically have a more sensitive palate. So women just, are more suited to more higher sensitivity in tasting and nosing. So it was really cool to be a part of that team and learning the specific goals of each brand and how to keep those consistent, while also being a part of innovation and looking ahead to what might be created next. So that was really cool.
So a couple of things. One, going back to what you said about women having a better palate. For the last 6 years now, I've been involved with cigar reviews. So whether it's been with companies that do it or doing it solo or doing it with a podcast, one of the things that happened along the way was my wife got into cigars. She actually got into whiskey. So I was still drinking whiskey pretty much on ice, on the rocks. And she happened to try something, one of the things I was drinking, and she was like, yeah, I don't like that one. And she went to pour something for me one night, didn't put it on ice, took a drink of it and said she loved it. Well, when it came to cigars, she was the same way. She ended up taking a puff of one of my cigars and she was like, wow, I taste this, and this. So when it comes to something on the palate, when I'm reviewing a cigar and I can't pinpoint what I'm tasting, I will literally send her a text, hey, come out here, need your palate. And she'll come out here, she'll smoke the cigar, and I will describe what I'm tasting. And I say, I can't pinpoint it. She'll look at it, think about it, and go, it's this. And as soon as she says it, it's like, oh my God, that's it. Mm-hmm. Her palate is so refined. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to, you were talking about the sensory rooms, I've heard you describe it, in depth, but for people that don't understand, what were some of the sensory rooms?
So you're talking about how the sensory department kind of worked?
Yeah. So they sent you into a room and just basically did what with you?
Well, they sent me in the room by myself and there was a bunch of samples set up in there. So they had them set up in like little stalls. So you would go and sit down. They would have 3 glasses in there set up, and that's called a triangle test. 2 of the samples are the same, one is different. You have to identify the one that's different. And they would do, however many rounds of product they had to taste or try that day. So because they needed a significant, you have to have a significant like sample set of people to try a product to have results that were meaningful. So they were constantly like, please, people, come to sensory. And I was always like one of the first ones in line. I'm like, just like trying to.
And you had no idea what whiskey it was. You didn't know what the color was, what the brand was.
And sometimes it wasn't whiskey. Sometimes it was vodka. Sometimes it was tequila. It could have been any one of their products from across their portfolio. It could be in a liqueur, something experimental that they were trying. But you're always trying to identify the one that's different. So they could be looking at a different supplier of citric acid in one of their products, and they want to know if a consumer could taste the difference in that change. Sometimes they'll just throw a wrench in it and they'll adjust the proof a little bit or add some salt to a whiskey and see if you can identify that small change. And that's just to make it's truly just a test to see if you're paying attention.
Just to keep you honest.
Yeah.
So what was that time that you went in there and it was tasting something and you realized, holy crap, I'm good at this?
I knew I was good at it because I was able to identify almost every time with just my nose. Like very few times that I actually have to go in and taste it. That would be like the salt test kind of thing. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure all these are the same. And then you go through and taste it. You're like, oh, okay, I get it.
So
that
what
one's
do you
just-
contribute that to? I mean, that's very unique that you don't even have to taste it. You can smell it and go, that's different.
Yeah, I
So
have a
what do you
really
contribute?
really sensitive
What do you
nose.
contribute that to?
I don't know who to attribute it to. It's just I have a really sensitive sense of smell, and your sense of smell actually is like 3/5 of your ability to taste. I'll get
100%.
unfortunately, I get like pretty regularly a sinus infection on a yearly basis, maybe around this time when the seasons are changing, and lose my sense of smell for a couple weeks. And when my smell goes, when that goes, my taste goes entirely. I can literally taste nothing. Yeah, I can put a whole like blob of wasabi in my mouth. Can't taste it. I can feel it, but I can't taste it.
Well, there's something in the cigar realm that, it's called retrohaling. So, we get a lot of the taste from a cigar. We get some of the taste from a cigar through the palate. What we taste on the tongue, the roof of the mouth, on the lips. But, a lot of people consider it, they think about it and they don't know about cigars. They think that you're inhaling the cigar smoke. You're not. You're pushing it out through your sinuses. And that's where on a really good cigar, you end up getting a lot of the flavor notes. You end up smelling, and it brings back all the different memories of whether it's vanilla, whether it's hay, whether it's being in a barn and you smell the leather tack. You get that through your sinuses, and that is one of the big aspects of reviewing or trying cigars. So, understanding that that's a big part of whiskey as well. That's a pretty cool, we always say that cigars and whiskey go hand in hand. That's another thing that we like to bring up, is that it's through the nose.
Yeah. The aroma, just like sticking your nose in the glass is really important. But then also once you part your lips and you bring it to your mouth, we also that's the retronasal experience. Like when you're breathing it in kind of almost unintentionally, as you go to sip it, you'll get different things. Sometimes they're prominent. And when that happens, I like to make note of that. Sometimes it's a little more subtle and it just enhances the experience. Sometimes it's bad. And you want to note that too.
That's super impressive that you can usually smell the difference. And I also think I figured out my retirement gig because I have a huge nose, so I got to be good at that, right? I don't know. I think
it's surprising. Yeah, mine's pretty small, but it's powerful.
No, that's awesome. So you progressed up through. You did all the tasting rooms and did all of the sensory stuff. How did that progress from there?
I was training to be a master taster with Chris Morris. We were working on developing the Master Distiller program together, like training program, like how long do you stay at this distillery, and you're shadowing with this master distiller. Like it wasn't just training with Chris, it was training across the portfolio to then eventually move into the role that he held when he was going to move into the emeritus master distiller position, which happened many years later. I really loved my job in research and development, but I was also really enjoying the opportunity to get out and market and teach about the product. I was not naturally comfortable talking in front of groups, but they invested a lot in that skill in me. I had a lot of PR training. I had a personal presentation coach. Her name's Kate Bringardner out of Louisville. She's amazing. She actually prepared me for my TED Talk that I did, which I think has been the most nerve-wracking presentation of my life, even though it was only 10 minutes. But moving up in those roles was really cool. And then I had an opportunity to kind of like take my career in my own hands. And so I didn't want to get out of the technical side of creating products. That's really why I fell in love with the industry, being a chemical engineer. The nerdy process side of it is what attracted me to it from the beginning. Getting into the other aspects of it was not entirely my doing. I was led there. People within the organization saw this potential. They saw my potential, and they were kind of leading me to that. On a weekly basis there at the end of my time at Brown Forman, my boss would sit me down and be like, okay, Marianne, is it R&D or is it master taster? And I'd be like, I want to do both. I want to keep doing both. So I was like working 2 full-time jobs, running myself into the ground, but I didn't see any other way, because I didn't want to lose touch with actually making the product. And then eventually, these guys with a crazy vision out of Frankfurt offered me the chance to get back to my roots. And at the end, I guess I wasn't looking for a new opportunity. I really felt like the people that I worked with in research and development at Brown Forman were like family. I mean, I definitely spent more time with them than I did my family. But it was a decision to, the decision to move away from Brown Forman is not one that I took lightly. And my direct boss at that time really understood the path that I was trying to take. The marketing folks, not so much. Pretty sure they had my face on a wanted poster up in the Woodford distillery there for a while. But I think it was the right decision, even though everybody literally thought I was insane, including my own dad. But eventually came around to the idea.
So before we go into leaving Brown Forman or Woodford, we do have a question. So Brad says, Marianne, do you think making whiskey is a balance between chemistry and artistry, so to speak? If so, which is the majority?
I love that question. It definitely is a balance between art and science. I'm a chemical engineer, so I look at things technically. When I first got out of engineering school, I could have made a highly efficient production facility. I could have designed the hell out of a distillery, but it wouldn't have tasted good. So that's where the artistry comes in. So, getting the chance to talk to, the people that were in the distilleries day in and day out, because in the olden days when they were making bourbon, hundreds of years ago, they didn't have all the technology. They weren't going by numbers. They were going by taste. They were going by feeling. They were going by the environment and the seasons and the nature. So I think really those things are the beauty of kind of the artistry of it, the art of making bourbon. It's that it isn't a process that you can entirely control. And what's out of your control is maybe some of the most magical parts of it.
So let's talk about moving on from Brown Forman. How did you break it to them that you were leaving, and where did you go to next?
So when I decided that I was going to take the position at what then became later Castle and Key, I set it, and I don't know if this is the right way to have gone about it or not, but it's just what felt right at the time. I set a meeting on the calendar for Chris and I to get together, and I named the meeting Project Update. And I went to his office, and we started, talking about some stuff that I was working on. And I was like, Chris, I need to let you know that this has happened. And actually at that point, I hadn't 100% decided that I was going to take the role. But I told him, I was like, I'm entertaining this opportunity. And once I said that, he stood up from his desk. He led me to the door and didn't say another word. And I haven't spoken to him since. And then of course, after that, it was like a flurry of like, all right, HR meetings. And I'm pretty sure I was out of there. Oh, that's not true. That was a Friday. I met with my bosses. I met with the head of HR for the whole organization. And they were like, well, is this something that is negotiable? Like, can we talk to you about what it might take to keep you. And I was like, yeah, we can talk about that. I'll kind of give it till Monday. Got back in there Monday. They laid out in front of me like what they thought was their best offer to keep me, and I realized that the next opportunity was calling. So that very day, my boss had kind of done a similar thing. He gave it his 2 weeks notice and actually worked through his 2 weeks and then moved on to his next position. So I was fully expecting to have a 2-week notice period. But yeah, they had a security escort come and get me that very moment. And yeah.
Wow. So this may, obviously I don't want you to talk numbers or anything crazy, but like, so how much of it was passion was leading you this direction and how much of it was money? You know what I mean? Like where did that kind of divide and say, you know what, I'm more passionate about this. This is where I want to go.
Well, it's interesting. I did feel like the offer that Brown Forman put on the table didn't really show any urgency necessarily to keep me. There were some projects, like I mentioned, the Scotch whiskey projects and the Irish whiskey portfolio that they brought on right before I left. Like that was part of my side of the negotiation. Like, if I stay, I want to be prioritized for working in these areas. But honestly, the salary that they put on the table was already what my normal annual increase was supposed to be. So I was like, this other one it's a risk, but a risk worth taking.
So Castle and Key, was this Castle and Key that was just starting out, or was this Castle and Key that was already kind of out there before you hooked up with them? How did that
There was
process
no Castle and Key before I joined.
That's what I was thinking. So let's talk about how the meeting got set up with you with Castle and Key and what it was like going into Castle and Key.
So they reached out to me through LinkedIn, I think. Wes Murray, one of the original founding partners, just basically like, hey, friend, we've heard about you. We'd love to show you around, like, anytime you have some free time. And I actually was working on a project consistently at Woodford at that time. I was living in Southern Indiana, so working downtown Louisville, but then I had this project at Woodford, which is very close to Castle and Key. If y'all, know, it's like, less than 5 miles apart, which is wild because I worked for Brown Forman for 6 years and never went down there except for this, this first time. I would hear people talking about the old Taylor Distillery, and I was like, it's probably some like dilapidated log cabin. Like, you go on those hikes in like Gatlinburg and see an old,
you're looking at Cades Cove.
Something. Yeah. I'm like,
that's where I live.
Yeah. I'm like, it's probably just some like millstone and a half of a log cabin, like nothing to see. Not the case. So I'm driving down. I think it was like either the day before or the day after my birthday that year. That must have been 2014. That's not true. 2015. So I was driving down there. There had just been like an ice storm. It was so beautiful, like a winter wonderland. Got there, did this tour with Wes Murray, and again, I'm just there like thinking, they just want to like meet some people in the industry, network. They're getting into it. Maybe I can be helpful to them. I had just been like put in a magazine on like the next generation of bourbon distillers. I had this master, taster role. So starting to make a name for myself, and got to the end of the tour. I was like, all right, it's a big project. Good luck. Like, I'll be down the road. If there's anything that you think I can help you with, I'm happy to chat. Cause he was asking me lots of specific questions, like taking me through the distillery. Like, here's the still, would you keep it?
You didn't know that you didn't know that you were on an interview instead of a tour.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And maybe because I didn't know I was interviewing, I said the right things, I guess. I don't know. But at the end of it, he was like, we were wondering if you might want to join our team and be a part of this. And I was like, well, it would take a lot for me to leave Brown Forman. And he very smartly, this was Wes Murray, he very smartly just looked me right in the eye and said, "You're not allowed to say no today." And I was like, well, all right.
That is awesome.
And, a month or so of kind of going back and forth, and one dinner with their wives, because I wanted to meet the women in their lives. Like they got to be able to handle a strong lady leader if we're going to move forward on this, and decided to join the team.
Phenomenal. Now, I'm sure you noticed us chuckling there for a few minutes ago. So last year for Women's Month, we obviously had Alex Castle on and Devin Walden, and both of them, like 3 or 4 times throughout the episode, well, this person reached out on LinkedIn, and we ended up. So LinkedIn has been like you guys need to shut off your LinkedIn if you don't want to move, because it seems like the way that everybody gets the distiller to move to the next place is LinkedIn.
Yeah, it was funny.
It's great. No, so go ahead.
No, go ahead, bud.
No, I was just gonna say I think I heard it somewhere else or read somewhere that how much work it was gonna take to get that place back up and running. So you obviously knew what was ahead of you when you took this job on. That's a lot to take on, but at the same time, it's got to be something that's you're like, hey, I can leave my mark on this place and actually build it the way we want it to make it, to make it functional and also put out great product.
Mm-hmm. I saw that as my chance to create my own legacy in the whiskey world, like honoring what E.H. Taylor had built 100%. Like we even went to the extent of reverse engineering some of his whiskey actually produced there in pre-Prohibition to make sure that, we just understood what that product was like. Not that I was trying to replicate it, maybe emulate it a little bit, but, I made some choices like going with the white corn. We had done some exploration in finding a yeast strain that would have existed in that facility, like actually scraping in some of the old pipes. And we were able to isolate a yeast with Wilderness Trail, but unfortunately it just wasn't a suitable distillery strain. It was like some crazy wild Icelandic yeast, but, trying to stay rooted in the history of that place because it was so important, truly a bourbon icon. So to have the chance to be a steward of it, it's not something that I would ever not do over. I would do it over in a heartbeat. It was the hardest, thing that I've ever done, but I would do it again.
So one of the things that, you were talking about Wilderness Trail, helping you with the yeast strain. So Mick went down a rabbit hole last week listening to Amanda Bryant talk about yeast strains. So I will say, if you want to go to a different rabbit hole, go look into Wilderness Trail. They got their start in being the foremost people in yeast.
Oh, I know that.
And it's one of those things that, just saying this is going to make Mick go look up 700 different videos in the next couple of days. But yeah, he's doing it now. So going into, this new facility, what were some of the things that, you found challenging, and what were some of the things that you were like, this is awesome. This is what I was meant to do.
I mean, everything was challenging. There wasn't anything about it that was easy. It was a facility that halted probably the peak of the Industrial Revolution, or, was restarted right after. So the equipment itself was pretty antiquated, but it was all like rusted through. So, the only thing that I could really use, surprisingly, some of the components in the old cooker were able to be recommissioned. Like the agitator itself, surprisingly, was still spinning. So we did, for the first year of production, use the original cooker exactly as it was. But, as things do, it was ancient and we knew it was going to break down at some point. So I had to get in there and retrofit it. I think if in hindsight, I would have stood up more for going in new with much more of that stuff. Had I known then what I know now. But it just happened the way that it was meant to happen. One thing that I do think about a lot, and only people that are in production would really think about this, but so one of my business partners was really mindful of every penny. And, that's important. But also, like, looking at the whole picture is also important. So there were lots of holes already drilled in these, really thick stone walls inside this castle. So as the pipe fitters and I were working on routing to figure out how the new process would be laid out in this existing facility, this business partner wanted to use as many of the existing holes as we could, which is fine, as we should. But at the same time, like a pipe, that could go straight through the wall was now going like 10 feet up and to the right, another 10 feet, and then through the wall and then back and down. And it extended everything. And it sent us through some kind of crazy pathways, indirect pathways. And I think about, like, the next distiller. They don't have a master distiller now. They've decided that they, I don't actually know what the decision is behind that, but they don't have a master distiller. But whoever gets into that facility next, because I'm sure there will be another change of hands at some point in the future, they're going to be looking at the pipes and the process diagrams and be like, what the hell was Marianne thinking when she set this process up? And I'm just going to be like, I'm sorry. I did the best I could. And it wasn't just me making those decisions, but thank God we had the pipe fitters that we did. Clark Mechanical, they are true professionals, like been doing mostly only distilleries for multiple decades, and having the chance to build that with them was really a treat.
So asking you the same thing that I asked you about Brown Forman. So you're looking at your time over at Castle and Key. What were some of the things that, that when you think back was some of the most amazing experiences? And then what made you decide to leave Castle and Key?
Well, some of that I can't discuss because I am under a non-disparagement agreement, and there is a open lawsuit with Castle and Key ongoing. It's been ongoing for, I don't know, about 6 years now. Hopefully we'll resolve it. Hopefully. That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Some of the most amazing, I think that the time that I spent there before it was open to public is all time that I will cherish forever. Even though it was a lot of, tireless hours working every weekend. I put myself on night shift. So coming into the distillery at midnight, something like that, and then working all through the night, having the day shift operators come in, and then I'm on site leading like tour groups to do bourbon like barrel experiences and that sort of thing, leaving the distillery at around 4 p.m. It was exhausting, but all of that I feel really proud of having pushed through, because I knew how important it was to building that site.
So you were not only like working in the distillery, but you were doing tours and things like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be extremely taxing on somebody.
Yes, it was.
So was, looking back at that, was there any time that you were like, this is too much for me? Because I'm going into that girl dad mode to where I've got to think that you're doing all the stuff for a nighttime shift, and then you've got to go do the daytime stuff, which is just pushing around people like me who want to go and see the distillery, and you're sitting there like, I've already been here for 12 hours and I've got to deal with you.
Yeah, I never said it out loud, but 100%. It was really hard. And I have several memories of like trailing behind the tour group at the end of the day. Like, you know, sometimes if I was feeling up for it, I would go back with them to the kind of gathering place and have like a final, like, cheers cocktail, like, great barrel you guys picked, like, thanks for the support kind of thing. But occasionally it was just like pure exhaustion. I would just be like kind of quietly crying, like following them, like trying to not let them know, like,
you know, how many times did you just have to go into a room and you lost your shit because it was one of those things where you're just overwhelmed?
Yeah. I lost it during a manager's meeting one time. It was when it was the week that I was starting up the gin system. And we made some choices to hire operators that didn't have any experience. And I think part of that was a financial decision. They passed it off as like, well, if you hire somebody that's already been working in a distillery, you get all their bad habits too. Like, at least this way you can train them the way you want them to be. And I was like, okay, well, maybe, but I'm also like the only one here that knows anything about the process. So I'm going to be on 24 hours a day, because we were running all 3 shifts basically from the get-go, even though I didn't have it broken up into like 3 shifts. I was working night shift in that distillery. I was running the whole process by myself many times, which, looking back, like in my 20s in Millville in the middle of nowhere by myself, like probably not a great idea. But I did that. I think I lost my train of thought a little bit. Oh, it was the week that we were starting up the gin. And I literally was there for all day, every day for kind of a week straight. I would go out to my car and take naps occasionally and come back in and, you know, see what was going on. Like, we were trying to figure out how to set up the gin baskets, like what the layering was going to be, what, you know, when we would make the decision to do the cuts, and like training all the guys on the sensory of all of this. And, you know, we finally got to the end of it and we made our first batch of gin. And, you know, typically the first run of gin just gets thrown away. And because of all that I did, all the prep work I did, all the planning that I did, that first batch of gin went into a bottle and we sold it because it was great. And we got into our manager's meeting and I was really proud about that, and just telling people like, we did it. And I started crying during the manager's meeting and everybody was like, oh, Marianne, she's so happy. And it just, you know, it felt a little bittersweet, because the other half of that emotion was just like, you know, pure exhaustion, and nobody was really acknowledging that. I think that the one unfortunate thing, and I don't think that this is uncommon, but there was a real issue with celebrating burnout culture. And that's probably at more distilleries than just this one. But I do feel like the way that I pushed myself kind of contributed to that, but I don't see how it could have happened any other way.
Yeah, we've talked about passion a couple times on the show already, and the problem with passion is there's no hour limit on that. Like, we're not 40 hours a week. Like, I've never, whether it was coaching, whether it's this podcast, whether it's the job I do at my work, there's no hours associated with it, because I just need to get that job done and do it to the best of my ability to make sure everybody succeeds. And that's a cool part about this show, is like we always find some connecting factor with every guest we have on here, because we just feel that, you know, you find that one common ground, whether it's with bourbon or cigars or whatever, with that community, you find that common ground. But Yeah, that's crazy that you were working that many, and I guess you probably weren't even looking at it as hours or whatever. You were just like, we need to make this happen, to make it push through to succeed.
Yeah.
You have no choice. Yeah, exactly. It's your whole life into it. So when you so you were obviously there for a while, and you were pushing out new products, and you were working to make the distillery everything that it could be, obviously pushing yourself well above what most people could handle, obviously. What was the next steps, and what led you to, where you moved on to do your own thing?
So it was actually before the distillery started operating. These guys out of South Carolina reached out to me, and I think again it was through some kind of social media, but they were like, yeah, we read this article in Whiskey Advocate about you. So it was me and 5 other guys in this article that Fred Minnick wrote about the future of bourbon. So I was the only female. I was the only one with a technical degree, definitely the only chemical engineer, but I was also the only one that was consistently in a distillery running production operations amongst the group. So I stuck out like a sore thumb. So these guys reached out, and they're like, we want to create a bourbon brand. We want to do something different. We think that you are the one that we would like to do that with us. And I was like, well, you kind of got to meet my business partners. I've just moved from Brown Forman to this new role. And so they met. I'm pretty sure that this brand was the first contract client that Castle and Key chose to bring on, which means I created a recipe just for this brand, and it was always their barrels. So it was not product that was ever meant to be a Castle and Key product, but I think is some of what folks were confused by when it was first released. They're like, it's just Castle and Key stuff. Well, no, it's not. It was always made to be forbidden. It's got a totally different mash bill. It's got a different process that it's made by. So it is unique. The first production run was done at Castle and Key in 2018. And by that time, the distillery was open to the public, and things were feeling really different for me. So about a year after that production, I decided to move on from Castle and Key. And these guys with this brand, Forbidden, reached out to me, and they were like, yeah, we were really, sucked to see that you left, but you are going to stay with us, right? And at the beginning there, I just wasn't sure that I wanted to be associated with anything that that had happened there, that I had made there, that was coming out of there. And it's not because I wasn't proud of it or that it was bad. It was just for lots of reasons that I can't entirely.
I was about to say, let's we'll move past that, because we know that's in litigation right now. But let's talk about this
Forbidden.
bottle right here. Yes. So I told you I had a hard time opening this bottle, because when I went to the only place that I could find within an hour away that had this bottle, I found the only bottle that had your actual signature on it. So I've cracked that one open. That one is in here.
Sweet.
So let's talk about Forbidden Bourbon. So let's go into how you met these people, what it was like getting in to know them, and how did you get to make the bottle right here.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was talking about. Like, they reached out to me through Instagram, said they wanted to do something different, introduced them to Will and Wes. That was the first contract of Castle and Key. So I developed the recipe for this. They were like, yeah, we're from, South Carolina. So we eat a lot of white corn during the summertime. So they knew they wanted that to be the dominant grain in the recipe. And that was great, because I was already playing with all kinds of different varieties of white corn for Castle and Key's recipes, because that's what E.H. Taylor used in his bourbon, was white corn. So I kind of just tagged on that white corn, and then I knew I wanted to do something different to highlight that. So we decided to play around with different varieties of wheat. So chose a white wheat and then a high percentage of barley. Sorry, my laptop just told me I have low battery, so I hope it doesn't die, because I did not bring a power cord. So just
We'll go ahead and try to speed this through.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
So it's a unique mash bill. It's called Forbidden because we use food grade grain instead of feed grade grain. We use a low temperature fermentation process, which, we talk about Southern culinary inspiration a lot. So low and slow. And then it's that, what was I going to say? But the other reason behind Forbidden is really because I'm Kentucky's first female master distiller, and it was actually legally forbidden for women to be hired in a distillery as anything but a cashier, a waitress, or an usher, and that law wasn't repealed until 1974.
So when did you realize that you were Kentucky's first female master distiller since Prohibition? Because
Fredman told me.
I
didn't
figured
realize
it's going to come from there. Yeah.
Yeah. So he did all the research for that book that he wrote on whiskey women. And then the year that I took the role, he was moderating a panel at the Bourbon Classic. It was all the current master distillers, so a stage full of men. And he takes the podium and he said, before we get started here, gentlemen, I just wanted to let you know there's a new master distiller in the state of Kentucky, and her name is Marianne Eaves. So he spilled the beans. And at that point,
how did you feel about that?
I hadn't told anybody my title, and there was actually some controversy about it within the Kentucky Distillers Association because they felt very strongly that it was a fraternity of master distillers. And everybody was so concerned about me, taking this title. But what I truly felt, and clearly what Fred also believed, is that I had the skills to back it up. And by taking that role, I would be doing the job of a master distiller. So it wasn't something that I needed to wait to be knighted for. Most master distillers in the role that they kind of come into, they're just taking the recipes from the guy that ran the thing before them and don't screw it up. I was building something entirely from scratch, and something that will always be a fond memory of mine was actually not that year, but the following year I was on that stage on the Master Distillers panel at the Bourbon Classic, and I was sitting between Eddie Russell and Charlie Downs. And Eddie turns to me and he's like, Marianne, my dad, Jimmy Russell, was so shocked when he heard that you were leaving Brown Forman. But then he knew any true master distiller would be doing exactly what you are had they had the chance.
So if you go into like the Mount Rushmore of people, Eddie and Jimmy are on there for me. I love both of those guys. I mean, I got to meet Jimmy, got to meet Eddie at one point, and those guys, the stories that they tell when they're just hanging out are amazing. But you've got this bourbon over here. Tell us about it. So what should people expect when they're drinking a forbidden bourbon?
Yeah, when I talk about the profile of forbidden, we talk about Southern culinary inspiration. And what are two of the most prominent ingredients in Southern cooking? Cream and butter. So I want it to be creamy. I want it to be buttery. It's got some nice complexity and nuance, but it's warm. It's warm. It's a long finish, and that's through the small batch and the single barrel. Is that I want people to have that nice long warm finish. So the mash bill's unique. White corn, white wheat. I don't know if y'all know this, but yellow corn, 90+% of yellow corn that's grown is not grown for people to eat. It's grown for animal feed, to make ethanol fuel from. It's not meant for people to eat. Lots of people make bourbon with it. We decided to use white corn because it's the opposite. So it's a little gentler corn profile. So everything feeds into the flavor. And then the difference between red wheat and white wheat is a similar thing. So because the white wheat doesn't have that red seed coat, it's not as drying, it's not as tannic. And white wheat is grown to be used in bread and crackers and that sort of thing, whereas red wheat is often fed to animals. And then I chose to go in with a higher percentage of barley just to make a statement. Like, barley's an expensive grain. A lot of people, especially American distillers, Kentucky distillers and bourbon, reduce the percentage to as low as possible just so they get the impact of the enzymes, but they're not really using it for flavor. It has a lot of flavor to contribute, but even more important to me, it has a lot of texture to contribute. So that creaminess, the butteriness, the yeasty profile, that bakery kind of essence that comes from that high barley percentage.
Awesome. So I will say that, I told you that I did not want to open the bottle because it had your signature on it. I wanted to put it up there with my, the bottles that I had that was signed. I've opened the bottle. I'm enjoying it. It's a great bottle.
Sorry if it slowed down. It's probably my battery.
It is. So we're going to try to go ahead and go through the rest of this real quick. We do have a couple of questions from you for our Hotbox questions. And I am going to go ahead
I can't hear y'all anymore, unfortunately.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you.
We can. You're froze up a little, but we can hear you. Uh-oh.
I think we're losing her.
Is she trying to tell us something?
So, Marianne, if you can hear us, we're going to go ahead and we're going to try Hotbox questions with you. But before we do that, we'll do Beard Apothecary as the sponsor for it.
Hi, honey. Did you finally finish the Irish goodbye?
Yes. Do you want to help me clean up?
No, I can see that.
What's going on, fam? I dodged that bullet. So, hey, we just re-released our limited edition for St. Patrick's Day, the Irish Goodbye. This was inspired by our good friend, the shirtless wonder, Mr. Bernie himself. Going to be limited again. We ran out pretty quick last year. It is back. It is smelling wonderful. Get it for St. Patrick's Day. And whatever you do, make sure you give the boys a like, a follow, and a subscribe. Don't let the beard lick word. Stay metal, my friends.
All right. So, Marianne, are you on here still with us?
Can you hear us now? Oh, shit. So what do you think, Charles? Should we try something further, or should we say thanks? We'll try this again another time. I don't know what you think, man. What do you think?
Marianne, if you can try it. There you go. Are you on mute?
Hey, wait, I have an idea. Time out.
All right.
If you can hear us, jump on your cell phone. We'll ask you the questions and we'll get you off of here because your cell phone probably has battery. And we could do it on the cell phone. I sent you the link. Jump on the cell phone. We'll finish it out there, and then we'll let you have the rest of your night off. Look at me improvising on the fly.
Look at that. So I'm just saying she's trying. So she's on here.
Yeah, if you just click on that link that I sent you on Instagram, you should be able to jump right on there. We can finish out the questions real quick and we can get you out of here. Obviously, we have like 80 more questions, but that's up to you. Hopefully that was on her laptop. I think it was. And now the new one's on her cell phone. So
it is.
Okay.
So while she figures that one out and she's trying to do that one, I will say that somebody who is a firm like Bourbon Trail in Kentucky person. Oh wait, here we go. At the stage.
Okay, I'm afraid.
There she is.
I'm afraid it's gonna have a echo.
You're fine.
Okay.
All right, so we are in Hotbox questions. So we're going to go ahead and ask you a couple of questions, and then we're going to lead you into our play it forward question. So Mick, go ahead and ask Marianne the first Hotbox question.
All right. Actually interested by this because I want to know how I did for the week of promos. What is your favorite musical band or artist?
Oh, that's a great question. My favorite artist for a long time was Matt Kearney, but I've gotten into some more different genres recently, like swamp rock. I've been listening to some of that kind of stuff, like alternative bluegrass. I've been listening to some of that kind of stuff. Yeah, branching out a little bit.
I like it.
All right, so question number 2: what is the one thing in your life you're most proud of out of everything that you have done? What is the one thing that you're most proud of?
I mean, it would be hard not to say my daughters. I've got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they're so special. And being a mom pushes me in a way that nothing else ever has. You know, you have to confront some things about yourself, and they teach me stuff, you know, every single day. I mean that they're still little, but I'm really proud of being their mommy.
Amazing. Great answer. Girl dads, girl mom,
Yeah.
girls, girl month, girl power. I mean, hell, let's go. So, all right. So, my last question, before we get into the ask it forward question, if you could have a pour of bourbon with any distiller, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I think it's probably for me got to be E.H. Taylor. I think we'd have a lot to talk about.
That's a great answer with everything you did there. Yeah, that's amazing. Amazing answer. I was kind of hoping for that answer. That's great.
Yeah.
So my last question is something that I keep asking to every lady that we got coming on here. I have a 14, 15-year-old daughter that is trying to find her way in life.
Mm.
So as she tries to find her way and her passion in what she wants to do in life, what is the one piece of advice that you would give her to help push her towards what she wants to do?
I would say that the thing that lights you up now may not be your forever thing, but you should do it anyway. And I think that something that I've learned is I've navigated my growth in this industry. Yeah, I've kind of stuck with the same thing for a long time, but my focus and the opportunities that I've had have definitely changed in ways that I could have never predicted. So definitely like just follow your heart and know that you're capable of managing any obstacles and any change. And if you just believe in your ability to adapt and to grow and to learn, it really doesn't, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter where you start, but you might not end up where you thought at the beginning. And actually that's more the more common experience of life is that, you find a way into something that you didn't have any idea you had passion for until you got there.
I absolutely love that one. So we have one last question for you. And this question is going to be our play it forward comment. And it is going to be a question that was brought to you by the person that we had last week. We had Amanda Bryant on last week. She is a huge fan of yours, and she has a question for you. But first, the play it forward question is brought to you by Southpaw Stogies.
What's up, the Southpaw Stogies here. First, I wanted to just say thank you for supporting us and supporting the Real Smoke podcast. So next time you're in Lebanon, Tennessee, please be sure to come out and experience Southpaw Stogies. We've got a great selection of cigars here, great selection of beer and coffee. And by the way, I just want to give another local shout out to Crown's Heads. Look at this beautiful band there. We've got them here at Southpaw Stogies. So we're here at 402 East Main Street in Lebanon, Tennessee. And stay smoky.
All right. So, Mick, do you have the play it forward question?
I do. I don't know why they led to the guy that can't even pronounce shit to read questions, but here we are. So, question. I think it's part of the game. Question for the wonderful Marianne Eaves. Your journey has been inspirational to so many others, likely more than you realize. Breaking into leadership in the whiskey industry can mean pushing against long-standing traditions. Even the most respected leaders sometimes wrestle with imposter syndrome, where the pressure to consistently keep proving yourself can be a very real thing. Along your journey, were there moments where you felt like you had to prove that you belonged, or where you self-doubt crept in? And what advice would you give to the next generation of women entering into this industry that feel the same pressure?
100%. And I think that kind of like leads into that question that you asked before. What advice would I give 14, 15-year-old, young woman trying to find her way? Definitely, I have had moments where I have had to work harder, work longer, prove myself in ways that I felt like men in this industry never have to. And partially because that for many people, I'm the first, woman in this level of production that they've ever met. They don't often see women in distilleries. They don't often see women in distilling, and definitely not at that time that I was taking the title. Oftentimes I'd be there meeting a group to lead a tour as the Master Distiller, walk them through the facility and through a tasting, and they'd be like, "Oh, cool! You must be the digital media girl. We're waiting for the Master Distiller." I'm like, "Nope, sir, that's me." So it has taken patience, and just understanding I have a chance to give these people a different experience. So showing a little bit of grace, knowing that they've never seen a person like me, with the knowledge that I have and the position that I am. And so usually, there's a moment of discomfort when I'm like, "Nope, sorry, I'm the Master Distiller." I'm not sorry. Never say sorry. That's another, don't do that. Excuse me, I'm the Master Distiller. I'll be the one that's taking you on the thing. And usually pretty quickly they hear me talking and like, "Oh yeah, clearly. Yes. You know exactly what you're talking about." And that's happened to me over and over in my career. Just don't let the questioning get under your skin. Just let it roll off and go into it. You're living it, doing it. Yeah. Embody it.
Heck yeah. That is awesome. Now I know things got a little crazy there at the end with your laptop and switching over, but honestly,
sorry.
No. Don't be sorry. It was an amazing night. I know we're kind of getting to that point, but I just want to say, like, we definitely, I think I'm speaking for Charles there too. We definitely have more questions and things that we'd like to go back into at some point. We'd love to let you hop back on, and we won't go the whole way back this time. We just like to ask some questions about, some the industry and where you're at, what you got coming up. And I don't know, Charles, you got some follow-ups now that you wanted to get into, or what do you want to do?
No, you're 100% like where I'm at right now. I would love to, have you back on to talk about what's going on now and all that stuff. We do have, I think there was one comment on there. We had Smoking Somps that says, question, what is the pound for pound whiskey / bourbon / rye champion in an everyday man should drink, in your opinion? So just giving some context, Smoking Somps is somebody who's been with us from day one. He lives in New Zealand. So he is like developing his palate when it comes to American bourbon and rye. So if you had to tell him like different bourbons or rye that he would like need to try, what would that be?
Well, Woodford Double Oaked is going to be one. I mean, I have a lot of fondness for the Brown Forman portfolio because I worked there for a long time. And I'm not sure what the price point is on it, but the Old Forester 1870 is a brand. The last blending project, actually the first blend that I ever made and the last project that I worked on for Brown Forman. And that one's really fun. It was a fun story for me because I didn't have any blending training, but Chris just kind of like let me loose. He was like, this is the premise, now go make it. And so I went into, the inventory of all the warehouses of Old Forester and found some barrels and made this blend and set it in front of the brand, the director of the brand at the time. And she called me to her office, and I can't remember if it was the same day or the next day, but she was like, Marianne, I don't think we can release this. And I was heartbroken. I'm like, well, that's bad news. And she was like, it's better than the birthday bourbon. How could we release this? Like, how did you do this?
That's phenomenal.
Oh, sorry.
Whoops.
Sorry, it's so good. I didn't realize that wasn't the goal. But that was really cool. So the 1870 is one that's fun. It's got a cool historical tie to the start of Old Forester in the 1870. If you wanted to try something that's not in Kentucky, there's a Texas brand called Garrison Brothers that I love a whole lot. It's more grain forward. There's a distillery in New York that makes some really interesting stuff. If peat is in your repertoire, they make a peated bourbon that I really love up there at Kings County. There's distilleries all across the United States that make amazing products. So being from New Zealand, there's so many ways that you could go. And I think it's interesting when I talk to folks that don't live here about whiskey made here. They think about the American West as being like America. It's not really Kentucky so much that they're curious about. So a Texas bourbon, it feels more American to a lot of folks outside of the U.S. Than a Kentucky product does, which I think is fascinating.
I will say that, just saying, somebody who is very fond of the Kentucky bourbon experience, there is an extreme difference between Texas bourbon or Texas whiskey and Kentucky. But if you know that difference and you like, I like to call it the Texas funk. There is a really big, strange difference between a good Texas whiskey or Texas bourbon. But if you like that, I will say Mick has fallen into he's fallen into the rabbit hole of Texas whiskey.
I'm a big fan of Still Austin. I love their bourbons.
I'm glad you brought that up. I have a friend who just got a job there.
Okay.
Daphne is one of their new distillers, and she's incredible.
That is amazing. So maybe we get her on the show at some point too. It's literally,
yeah, 100%.
it's literally. So I know I'm new to the bourbon thing. I know I can't really talk about it much because I'm within 2 years of starting to like bourbon again. But still, Austin was the one to me. Like I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. But when I had their cask strength single barrel, I was like, holy shit, what am I drinking? Like this stuff has a brown sugar cinnamon aftertaste. It's like the smoothness of it at 120 some proof. Like it was unbelievable. And yeah, unbelievable. So such a great bourbon.
Another look out for in Texas, if you all haven't tried it yet, is Iron Root.
Oh, yes.
Yes. I have had. Yes. Very good.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, they're really good.
All right. So Marianne, let everybody know where they can find you on whether, I know you got back into a different social media account for something that you're doing that's personal, but you have your personal account, you have something different, and you have the distillery account. So let everybody know where they can find you and how they can reach you. And if they want to like let you know what they're thinking, let them know how they can find you.
Yeah. So, I mean, my primary account, I did start another Instagram account, but I kind of got off track with it. So I wouldn't direct people there, although I do think I'll revive it in some way here soon. Marianne BMD Bourbon Master Distiller is my primary account, and that's the best way to reach out to me directly if folks want to. My website, marianneeaves.com, also has a contact kind of sheet where you can, ask questions or inquire about things. I'm hoping to lead a tour of folks to Ireland in the summer. So that's like my big thing right now. And it is St. Patrick's Day. So hoping that, yes, I can get some people interested in coming to Ireland with me. It's an 8-day thing. 8 or 10 days, I can't remember, but we're going to be over there. We're going to visit 8 different distilleries. The Belfast Whiskey Festival is happening right at the beginning of the trip, so get to meet some incredible brands and see some beautiful sights and experience the incredible culture of Ireland and the folks there. And that's happening kind of toward the end of July, so I think it's 22nd through the 30th are those dates. So I know it's coming up fast, but I'm hoping that folks will get excited and sign up on it. And if we do get this one going, there'll be another one next year, and maybe one to Scotland too. So Marianne
awesome.
Distiller and drinkforbidden.com. If folks are interested in the brand and they want to go buy a bottle, drinkforbidden.com.
So I was 100% like worried about like opening this bottle just because you signed it, but after opening it, it's a fantastic
thank you,
fantastic whiskey.
I suck at drinking margaritas.
Congratulations.
Thank you. No, I was going to say the Ireland trip, if anybody wants to sponsor that for me and Charles, our Patreon was mentioned earlier in the show. Just saying. No, but I'm gonna say my last piece here. I had like 20 things I wanted to get into tonight, and I think I skipped half of them because I got so intrigued in your story. And it's an awesome story. Like we're so happy to be able to promote Women's Month and just kind of what you guys are doing in the industry. And your story is amazing. I mean, your drive is second to none, and we love promoting it. We love seeing it. And like we said earlier, if we can do a part 2 at some point, we would love to absolutely schedule that and get it on the books. But yeah, we love your story. I will eventually get some bourbon. I'll message you when I do, because I suck tonight. I did not have it on in front of me tonight, but now we appreciate everything you're doing for the industry, and it's awesome to see what women in the industry, somebody who's driven as you, can keep doing. So keep pushing, keep doing what you're doing. We're excited to see what comes next.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on here. Thank you so much for all the stories. Jumping onto what Mick said. Next time I want to get you on here just to talk about like whiskey, just to talk about like, it doesn't have to be your brand. It doesn't have to be any other brand. Just let's talk about whiskey. So love to have you on here. Love to get to know your thoughts on whatever is going on in the whiskey community, because there's a lot going on that people that's not in the whiskey community, they don't see. So love to get you back on here for that one. But thank you so much for being on here. We'll let you end your night and go home and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a great night.
You too.
So just like that, that is episode 69 in the books.
69.
And we just enjoyed a fabulous evening with Marianne Eaves with, Forbidden Bourbon. So
phenomenal.
I do know that there has been less people on here tonight watching because we're on a Tuesday night and we're battling other different shows, but we hope that everybody gets a chance to watch this in replay. But it was a great night. So we absolutely love having her on here.
Yeah. It was I knew it would be kind of a little bit rougher night on Tuesday, but man, she had some great stories. I do feel like we kind of cut it short, which I guess isn't a bad thing. We're still going to be close to that 3 mark, but it was a great night. She so eloquent and just powerful and driven, I guess is the best word. And she proved that all night, just in what she's done in the industry so far. So yeah, it was cool, man. It was definitely cool. And you win tonight by having a bottle of bourbon. I suck. I did not get one.
So I fought all night about opening that one. But the bottle, the shape of the bottle is fantastic.
It's beautiful. It'll catch your eye.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But the fact that it had the autograph on there, I mean, if you know me, any of the people that we talk to on here, if they sign something, I don't open it.
Yeah.
I leave that, whether it's a bottle or a box, I leave that item on the shelf and let that just be the item. And she told me beforehand that open it, drink it, enjoy it. So I did. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I'll get one eventually. You win though. You win.
All right, so we do have a couple of things left to do. We do have a cigar review as well as prizes to give away and Me While in Memphis.
We do.
So are you ready to get into the rest of those?
Let's do it.
All right, so we do have a cigar review, and that is brought to you by Cigar Army.
Tonight's cigar review is proudly sponsored by Cigar Army. The Cigar Army is a community brought together by their shared love of cigars, but bonded by something much deeper, their mission to give back to those in need. Through Operation Give Back, they honor the courage and dedication of our military and first responders, both active and retired. Their bravery and selflessness make the freedoms we enjoy possible, including this very moment to sit here, share a cigar, and connect with our Real Smoke audience. Every puff carries a story. Every draw is a tribute to their sacrifices. This isn't just about cigars, it's about gratitude, about compassion, and about giving back to the heroes who shaped our lives. Join them in the mission to make a difference, one cigar at a time. Check them out on Instagram at Cigar Army 3 or search Cigar Army on Facebook. Together, we can turn our passion into purpose.
All right, so you're the first one. Let us know what you got.
All right, so the Pestania San Andreas Corona Gorda. The pretty light aroma and taste. Aroma from the body. I got natural tobacco sweetness, light cocoa, and hay. Aroma from the foot, I got cocoa. Like cereal grains, I would say. Like a base cereal is what I got out of that. Raisin sweetness. Taste from the cold draw. Cocoa powder, light oak, and hints of it sounds terrible, but a cardboard note. But usually that's a good sign. It's almost like barnyard. It's a little bit of hints of cardboard. First third notes, I got leather, touches of earth, coffee, espresso, black pepper, chocolate. I also got noticeable spice on the tongue, and that carried through all three thirds. It was definitely that spice on the tongue that kind of lingered for a little bit. Retro was black pepper, brown sugar sweetness, and a little bit of coffee. Second, third notes, I got leather, light earth, charred meats, kind of like a barbecue, like a charcoal grill, light espresso, dark chocolate, touches of citrus here and there throughout the third. Retro, I got black pepper, brown sugar, and light coffee notes. Final third notes, I got dark chocolate, leather, touches of cinnamon and baking spices throughout, espresso, dark chocolate, that oatiness again. And then the retro, I got black pepper and a little bit of toffee sweetness. It kind of turned into like this caramely toffee flavor on the retro. Throughout, I got the incredible construction. It was like probably consistent 20-mile-an-hour winds that day and gusts of like 40 miles an hour. I had no touch-ups. The construction was absolutely amazing. Sitting out in that wind like that was just awesome. The retro was amazing. I enjoyed the retro throughout this thing. That lingering spice on the tongue throughout was unique, and I enjoyed it. And the change on this cigar was primarily complementary notes throughout, like the cinnamon, the coffee, the chocolate. Like it was complementary notes. The base flavors kind of stayed the same throughout, but there were complementary notes throughout that really made it unique. So, pre-light experience, I gave it an 18 out of 20. Beautiful, oily wrapper. Great brand. Love their design. Flavor enjoyment, 14 out of 15. I enjoyed this thing the whole way through, all 3/3. Smoking, construction, and characteristics, I gave it a 28 out of 30. And smoke production and final thoughts, I gave it a 32. My total score is a 92.
Okay, so if you look back at the Toro that you scored, that would be one point above the Toro.
Yep, I had a 91 on the Toro for the San Andreas Pistania. Yep.
All right. So for the Corona Gorda from the Pistania San Andreas, aroma off the body, musty manure, slight raisin. Aroma off the foot, sweet tobacco, slight fruit, less manure. To taste off the cold draw, a sweet tobacco and citrus note. By the way, I am absolutely freezing right now, so if you can hear it in my voice and my teeth are chattering, holy crap! I've been going through like convulsions in the last like 20 minutes. Here we go. So for first third notes, I'm trying to speak. I can't. I'm frozen. By the way, it is 23 degrees where I'm at right now, and my heater cannot keep up. If I look at the temperature at the little temperature gauge that I've got, it's 27 degrees.
That's why I'm inside, but I give you credit. I give you credit.
I'm freaking freezing right now. So, okay. So first third notes on the light, sweet tobacco, oak, and a black pepper. Into the first third notes are sweet tobacco, coffee, dark chocolate, and a black pepper. On the retro, black pepper followed by a dark chocolate and a slight sweet fruit note. Draw is snug, but still allows for ample amounts of thick, oily smoke. Burn is fantastic. Ash is tight and clean. Finish is medium long and leaves you with a slight pepper and sweet note. Full body, medium plus in strength. So I will say that I've smoked 4. So we send each other 2. My wife ended up buying me some, so I've smoked 4 in the last 10 days. 2 have had a slight snug draw. 2 have not. The one that I had tonight did not. Fantastic. Into the second, third notes, brown sugar. I will say, every time somebody has said brown sugar, I've never picked up brown sugar at all. First cigar that I've ever got a brown sugar note. Ever.
And I had it as well.
Yeah, so that's something that's like, when people talk about different notes, I've never had a leather note, ever. I've never had a brown sugar note. I got a brown sugar note, and I even told my wife, I said, brown sugar. And she tried it, and she's like, brown sugar. So, brown sugar, espresso, and a slight sweeter but still dark chocolate note. Slight dark fruit on the retro, black pepper, earth, and espresso, followed by a slight chocolate and a dark fruit sweetness. Draw has opened up a bit and still gives lots of thick, oily smoke. Burn and ash is still fantastic. Finish is medium long and leaves you with an espresso and fruit sweetness, full, minus, and strength. So, final third. In the final third notes up front are espresso, dark chocolate, dry fruit, or dry oak, and a slight nutty note. The retro is espresso, dark chocolate, slight mineral, and soft pepper. Draw and burn and ash are still the same. Finish is a little longer, leaving a slight sweet note on the lips. Full body, full strength. So on the scores. Pre-lot experience, I get a 19 out of 20. Flavor enjoyment, I give it a 15 out of 15. Smoke construction, I give it a 10 out of 10. Draw a 9 out of 10 just because it was tight half of the way through. Burn a 10 out of 10 for the size and the wrapper. I've never had, we've said this like a couple of times in a row, or at least I have. I have not had a burn act like this on a wrapper and size that we had. It was fantastic. Smoke production, final thoughts. Smoke production texture, excellent, 5 out of 5. Overall experience, 17 out of 20. Would I smoke it again? I would definitely buy a box, 9 out of 10. So I give it a 94. My highest score of the year.
That's impressive.
So you give it a 92. I give it a 94. So you scored it 1 point above yours last year.
I did.
I scored it 1 point above mine last year.
Great cigars.
So, yeah, 100%. I will definitely say the Corona Gorda is probably the best Vitola out of the bunch. We have not, I think they have a Bellicoso. We haven't tried that one.
Yeah.
But you give it a 92. I give it a 94. Real Smoke Podcast gives this one a 93. So check that out. Real Smoke Podcast gives the Pestana Cigars San Andreas Corona Gorda a 93.
Man, we say it a lot. We're so blessed, man. Like having those guys
100%.
on here and just know that doesn't play a part in our score, but knowing them and knowing how much they put into these cigars, and they say that's the best size to smoke, and then we smoke it, and we're like, well, hell yeah, it is. It was awesome, man. I would definitely buy a box of those.
There are a few brands that we are really, really close to. Like personally, the people that own them, we would consider actual friends.
Absolutely.
That we have scored well below what we just scored this one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we tell them is that, we love you. We're your friends. We're close to you, but we're going to score these how we feel.
Every cigar is not for every palate. We've said that 100 times. And this one obviously hit both of our palates. I would absolutely buy a box. And man, Pestana is just putting out some bangers. I think if we do one thing moving forward, we need to clip our review and put that on Instagram. Because I mean, they may not love it. They may love it. But I think it's one of those things that but then people probably won't tune into the replay. So never mind. Disregard them.
Maybe.
Disregard them. Yeah.
But what I will say is that when you sent me your score and I sent you mine, the funny thing was I had your score recorded. I had mine. We both went up 1 point.
Yeah. Crazy. That's what we do, man.
Yeah.
That was a great cigar.
All right. So
really enjoyed it.
Congratulations. I mean, you guys don't want to hear our congratulations. I mean, great job.
You're the cigar hustler.
Yeah, you're the cigar hustler. I mean, you're the man. So, Mikey and Mike, great job. You put out some banger cigars. 93 average from the Real Smoke Podcast. So, we do have some prizes to give away. Let's go ahead and get those giveaway. It was a small viewing night, so I have a feeling we're going to have some issues with past people winning. But we do have a couple of prizes to give away. Those prizes are.
Are we doing one tonight? Because we have another episode tomorrow.
Sure. Why not? Let's do one.
Sounds great.
So, one prize tonight. We didn't run that by Cigar Vault, but we'll just Audible.
We'll get with them tomorrow. Be great.
Yeah, cool. Hell, they may want to do two tomorrow.
They might.
All right.
We'll see.
All right. Cigar Review is brought to you by Cigar Army.
Tonight's Cigar Review is proudly sponsored by Cigar Army. The Cigar Army is a community brought together by their shared love of cigars, but bonded by something much deeper, their mission to give back to those in need. Through Operation Give Back, they honor the courage and dedication of our military and first responders, both active and retired. Their bravery and selflessness make the freedoms we enjoy possible, including this very moment to sit here, share a cigar, and connect with our Real Smoke audience. Every puff carries a story. Every draw is a tribute to their sacrifices. This isn't just about cigars, it's about gratitude, about compassion, and about giving back to the heroes who shaped our lives. Join them in the mission to make a difference, one cigar at a time. Check them out on Instagram at Cigar Army 3 or search Cigar Army on Facebook. Together, we can turn our passion into purpose.
Huge thanks to Cigar Army for all that you guys do for us. Mick,
We did Cigar Army previously. That was Hayes Gray, brother.
Really? Oh, man.
I know. Hey, Cigar Army got twice tonight, which I'm okay with because I love Cigar Army. And it's okay. People can laugh at us later. It'll be okay. You rarely screw up, brother. It's okay. I got you. That's why I wrote it down. I do.
Savor every moment with Hayes Gray Cigar. Each blend is crafted for bold flavor, veteran-inspired character, and premium construction. From smooth and approachable to rich and complex in flavor, Hayes Gray delivers a cigar for every palate. Now available our new release, Irmaus du Mar. Order Hayes Gray Cigars online at Fat Boys Cigars and from Wolfpack Cigar Club and the Cigar Vault, Oakdale. Visit our website for a list of nationwide retail lounges and to grab some cool Hayes Gray merch to rep our brand. As always, we've got your sticks.
What's up, Hayes? I'm just saying, I got you. I got you in.
We got it.
We got it.
We got it. We got it.
We got you.
All
right, so what's the deal?
All right, so tonight we're giving away one $25 gift card to Cigar Vault. If you've won already this month, in the month of March, you are not eligible to win again until April. So far this month, we've had Cigar Test Ride, Rob the Cigar Czar, Cigars with Angel, and Hologram have already won. So if that is your name, keep tuning in because meanwhile, Memphis is going to be good. But you're not eligible to win a prize tonight. So we're giving away one $25 gift card. And if you don't see your name, it's definitely in there. We talked to StreamYard. They're cool. They said, yep, it's definitely there. So spin that big, beautiful wheel, brother.
So how many times are we going to spin this for the winner?
Oh, shit. I didn't say that. Let's go with 3 tonight.
Got you.
The third person will be the winner.
All right, so here we go. Number 1. And the winner is Hologram. Not really. So we're going to spin that one again, draw again. Number 2. And the winner not is Rob Scarzar. Number 3.
I'm feeling Josephus tonight.
Josephus. Here we go.
I'm
Come on, Joe. Joe, come on. Come on. You're going to win. Let's do it. There it is. We did not call that one, but we did. Josephus, you are the winner if you are here.
I'm already ready.
Are you here?
Let's go.
Josephus says, I'm her. He is the winner. So that is the winner of our $25 gift card to the Cigar Vault, Oakdale, not Bearded
Women's
Month.
Month, and he's her.
Women's Month, and he's her. He is her.
I love it. Congrats, Josephus. Much love, man. I know you're a big fan, and we appreciate all your support all the time, man, and all the cool stuff you're doing. It's I think I'd be scared to visit your back porch, but man, I think it'd be the coolest shit ever. You're putting out some amazing stuff, man. So keep doing what you're doing, brother.
I honestly think hanging out with Josephus would be absolutely terrifying, but fun.
Yes. It'd be amazing. Amazing.
If you look at the videos and the stuff that he puts out, it's kind of like a haunted house, but in daylight.
I know, it's amazing. And then he just
I don't know if I'm scared or not.
Do you see he shaved today and he looks like 20 years younger? It's crazy. It's great.
He still looks terrifying. He still looks like somebody who, like, if I go up to him and say, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "I've got your grandmother buried in my basement." I'm just saying. I still love it, but the fact that it's like, "Hey, let me go meet Mamaw," and he's like, "Hey, she's in the basement. She's been there for 20 years."
It's a crazy, beautiful mind. I would love to meet the man. We're definitely going to set that up someday. We're going to do a show with Josephus.
There's either a lot of energy drinks or a lot of pot involved in it, but I'm good with either way.
Both.
I mean, it's great.
Both. He likes smoking some shit. Nobody ever said what it was. Just saying.
Very good Candela cigars. Just saying.
That's right. He loves them.
It's
Candelas.
Great. He loves those Candelas. All right. So the last one that we have is a Meanwhile in Memphis.
Let's do it.
So before we get into Meanwhile in Memphis is brought to you by some dude sent me a text, said that we have not said Brooders. Well, I'm just saying Brooders is now Meanwhile in Memphis. So what's up, Brooders?
Listen up, her feds. Is if your cutter feels like a toy and your gear's got no soul, it's time to level up. Brooders Cigar Accessories. 100% American made. Veteran owned, built like a tank, passed down like a rifle. This ain't mass-produced junk. It's the heirloom collection. Precision built with grade 5 titanium, magnetic steel blades, magnetic action, and inlays so clean they'll make your humidor blush. Check out the Heirloom Ambassador, a semi-custom raw titanium anodized finished cutter with exotic woods like Purple Heart and Bolivian rosewood. Or the Heirloom Elite, a fully customizable cutter with Cerakote, abalone, two-tone layouts, every detail dialed in. Each piece is serialized, built with pride, made to outlive you. So if you're tired of plastic cutters and flimsy lighters, go check out Brooders. Hit their website. Get something that matches your smoke game. Brooders, where legacy meets grit.
While in Memphis, it's happening again. Meanwhile in Memphis, the sky turns wild. Stray gators and pools running free and wild. Some guys wearing mud boots with a suit on trial. Meanwhile in Memphis, let's stay here a while.
That's what I'm saying. So, just saying, Brooders got in there.
They did. We're good now.
In the best accent ever.
They did. It is fabulous. It is fabulous. So I got 2 stories for Memphis and one that's my guessing game that I've been doing. However, my second Memphis story is also going to be
You're only doing the guessing game because you want me to fail. You want to see how many stories you can get out there that I do not guess.
Man, you're about 50%, which is way better than I would.
I've only missed one. I'm just saying. I've only missed one.
Let's see how tonight goes. But my second Memphis story is going to be a guessing game too. So even if we already talked about this. So if you're listening to this show later on in replay, yell out a number and then yell out a state just to see if you guys are right later. Let us know in the comments. It's
69 Tennessee.
It's gonna be fun.
Not now.
It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
All right. So you're gonna love this one. So attempted robbery suspect runs into National Guard in Memphis, Tennessee. The National Guard held a Memphis man for police after he waved a gun at them in a car that they had sat in. Investigators say this 33-year-old tried to rob a Family Dollar. Why is it every time a Family Dollar? Does Family Dollar have a lot of cash? Like, I need to start investigating this.
No. Have you been into a Family Dollar?
Yes. It's crazy.
I mean, look at it. It's the easiest place to rob.
Is this not like 3 out of the last 4 weeks? So I've had a Family Dollar store. It's great.
It's all Family Dollar.
All right.
Get
So
your
anyway,
shit. Get your shit.
he tried to rob the Family Dollar, but failed.
How do you fail? I mean, it's all there.
According to the affidavit, officers were called to an attempted robbery just after 2 p.m. on Thursday, March 12th. The store clerk told officers that a man entered the business with a black revolver, pointed at her, and demanded money from the register, according to police.
That's what she said.
She told police that the suspect, identified as blank, that she couldn't open the register or the safe. She said this man then ran into the parking lot away from the store. According to the affidavit, this man then ran up to a car while waving the gun, but to his surprise, members of the National Guard were inside the vehicle.
Dang it, Bobby.
He was arrested and charged with attempted aggravated robbery. He is now at the Shelby County Jail with a $55,000 bond. He is scheduled for a court hearing Monday morning. So, you fail robbing a Family Dollar, and then you wave a gun at a car full of National Guard who are here to help out.
I'm just saying,
Brilliant.
if you go up to a full car of National Guard Armory people, do you know what you should say?
Give him that hawk too and spit on that thing.
You would have got away with everything.
They'd have been like, ha, and then just, yeah.
All right. Anyways.
So, story number 2. Hit and run crashes are down in Memphis. But police still respond.
What was that?
Police still respond to about blank per day. I'll tell the story and I'll let you guess. Hit and run crashes remain a daily problem on Memphis roads. But new data from the Memphis Police Department shows that the number of cases is trending downward compared to recent years. MPD shared figures with Fox 13 on Friday showing that officers are currently responding to an average of blank motor vehicle hit and run crashes per day. While the number may sound high, police still say it reflects a continued decline. Last year, the average was 27. The year before, it was 32. The year before, it was 45 per day. Over the past 2 years, they've seen nearly 1,800 fewer hit and run cases, marking a downward trend. Yeah. Despite the improvement, the impact on victims remains significant. It was a big problem, but it is headed in the right direction, even though drunk driving seems to still be a problem. Many of those drivers eventually end up at local auto body shops. One of the auto body owners said that hit and run crashes keep him in business for a steady stream of repairs.
No shit.
Yeah. You see it quite a bit of them, he said, before adding to the recent decline that he was seeing multiple hit and run cases every week. Yeah, so how many do you think for this year is a lower number on the decline per day?
So how many last year per day?
So I know I gave you a starting point there. I probably should have blanked that out too. 27 last year, 30, 32 the year before, and 45 the year before that. Per day.
19. Wait, do I get like plus or minus like?
Yeah, I mean you're fairly
19.
close. I did give you
19.
a starting point. 22.
19.
22.
There's
still, you were close. 22 a day is lower and on the decline. 22 a day.
That's still a lot.
It's insane amount of 22. I saw that number and I'm like, what? A day? Crazy. All right, so where in the world is Carmen? Never mind. This story comes to you from a state.
Carmen Menfieso.
Yeah, this one comes to you from a state in the United States, and I think
God.
this was on the
Here we go.
news. I think this was on the news, so you may get it. But he let deadly snakes bite him over 200 times. Would you let some of the world's deadliest, most potent venomous snakes, including black mambas, Apians, I don't even know how you say that, and cobras bite you 200 times? No. What is the risk of death? Almost zero. Save save a stint at the ICU after lapsing to a coma. The writing on this is terrible. And you sacrifice the odds of survival of about 120,000 people who die every year from snake bites. Tim Freddy, 57, of blank, resident and lifelong snake enthusiast, is a citizen scientist attempting to gain immunity to over 16 species of venomous snakes. He does this by injecting himself with careful, measured doses of venom over time. It worked, and the results are compromising for development of a powerful antivenom. Deadly snakes aren't a big problem in Freddy's corner of the world, but he told the New York Times reporter that he is very proud to make a difference for people that are 8,000 miles away, and I'm never going to meet, and I'm never going to talk to, and never probably going to see. But
oh my God.
Yeah, so he let 200 snakes bite him, small doses, getting an antivenom. What state is this guy from? And I would have never guessed this ever, but apparently, so it's a
state.
Yes, state in the United States.
West Virginia.
Good guess. It does start with a W. Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Oh wow.
Yeah, that's such an oddball state because you wouldn't think snakes at all, really, besides maybe rattlesnakes up in Wisconsin, because the cold, a lot of them hibernate. A lot of them, there's not a lot of venomous snakes north of a certain point. So, like, I wouldn't
even think about venomous snakes in Wisconsin.
Yeah, the only ones that were in Pennsylvania, which is somewhat lateral with that, it would be rattlesnakes. I don't know of any other venomous snakes that are north of that area. So, but yeah, Wisconsin, kind of crazy. But yeah, dude's just injecting himself with venom over there. Sounds like some weird shit.
That's stupid. I'm just saying. Fucking stupid.
So another night. Another meanwhile.
Another night.
Another prize giveaway.
Another meanwhile in Memphis. But as bad as your meanwhile in Memphis is with like stupid shit, we did have a great person on tonight.
We did. It was amazing.
What are your thoughts?
Man, Women's Month has been... Last year was a lot of fun, and I truly enjoyed it. This year, I think I'm even enjoying it more because of how much it seems like we're bringing that girl power, man. And I know we've talked about it 100 times, and it's so cool to see not only what they've done, but the journey along the way that really has led to who they've become. And all three that we've had on so far has been amazing. And I know we're sandwiching someone in the middle on Thursday, so we have another show in 2 days. But man, Women's Month, we'll explain that to them on the air and make it awkward. It'll be fun. But but no, it was another great episode, man. I definitely have more questions. So at some point,
I do too.
She was just amazing though, and just so well spoken, and just you can tell how she could take over a room very, very easily.
So this week we did have Marianne Eaves on with Forbidden Bourbon, but in 2 days, as Mick said, we do have Michael Herklotz. So we do have one more episode coming up in just a few days. So jump on with us, come ask questions, come hang out. But on Thursday, the normal Real Smoke time, come hang out with us as we talk to Michael Herklotz of Ferry Ortega.
It's going to be like 70 degrees too, so we can both sit outside and enjoy life. I can tell you're freezing. I think you're dying.
I am so cold.
All right,
I'm so cold.
Let's wrap this up. Girl power. Take time this week, smoke a great cigar with someone you love, or have a great pour with someone you love. Either way, spend time with someone you love. And it was a great fucking night, man. And much love. Let's get you out of the cold and tune in Thursday. Michael Herklotz. It's going to be a great episode.
There you go. So I'm going to play the intro to this week's episode. It was the St. Patrick's Day intro. If you didn't get to hear it, you get to hear it now. So Mick, thank you so much for being on here with me. Loved all that we did tonight. I am so freaking cold. There's
get inside, bro.
There is no heat that is actually helping me right now. So, guys, have a great night. Love you so much. Come join us Thursday. Peace out.
Peace.
Pull up a chair. Light it up there. It's Real Smoke with Mick and Charles. Bye. Wait. There's a roar from the bar and a cheer from the door. Two Egypts with mics wanna hear one story more. Ash in the tray, brown gold in the glass. We're talking about the good times, letting hours slip past. Here's the pipes, pipes, and real smoke. St. Patty's night with the crake in the jokes. Mix pouring true, Charles fans the flame. We'll toast your name till the morning came. Raise them high for the Real Smoke show, where the yawns run deep and the whiskey flows. Slice it to lads and the lives they stoke on the real smoke. There's a singer in the corner with a half-burned grin, an actor talking mischief, where do we begin? Blenders, bartenders, wild hearts and rogues, spilling secrets through the halo of slow-rolling smoke. Here's the pipes, and real smoke. St. Patty's night with the crake in the jokes. Mix pouring true, Charles fans the flame. We'll toast your name till the morning.